Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Happy New Year's. It's 2021. This is our first official session in the regular campaign, but last week we did have a great a little one-shot, which I'll get to in just a second. This is Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. It's been going for a little over 2 years now, which is pretty wild. And we get to share it with you on Twitch, which is super cool. I'm Joe Treff, your Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me we have Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina. Typically, we do play in person. However, for the last year, because of COVID, we have been playing remotely in this digital format. So thank you for joining us for that. A couple of announcements before we get into things. I realize I still have the birds and the our soothing while we wait to stream music going. This is what we listen to when we're waiting for the stream.
Now that the other song is gone.
Now that I know, the jungle song. Oh, man. Let me bring up, well, I'll just leave it quiet until I get into the recap. So, a couple of announcements real quick before we get started. One of the projects that I've been working on in the time that we've had off, because we have been off for basically 3 weeks, I have been writing something called the Dungeoneer's Guide to Dominion. It is right now it's stretched into like 43, 44 pages. It's getting kind of chunky. It's going to be probably closer to 200 pages. But it is a setting guide that is for anybody who wants to run D&D in a very detailed way, not quite to the sort of bordering on unhealthy way that I do it, but enough so that you could really delve deep into the development of your campaign. It has all of the races and how they fit into our world, all the classes and some famous examples of those classes. There is the custom race, the Mountain Elf, which was designed for some of the characters in Tina's backstory. And then there is the Way of the Falcon Knight, a custom monk homebrew that we have for Shae and for a lot of the Sydney, actually. So those are both available. They're actually on our website right now, alberonrpg.com. As this is updated, it will be posted and updated every week and put there. Once it's done, it's free. So, you can have it and use it. All of the character bios from the main campaign after 2 years are finally on the website. So you can go there, you can learn a little bit about each character and sort of their journey throughout this campaign. Speaking of which, the story so far is updated to this session. So it is completely up to date. It tells you the entire story of this 2-year-long campaign with dates and details and all kinds of cool stuff, both in-game and out-of-game dates. The next iteration of this is actually going to have links in the story to videos of these things happening, which is going to be pretty cool. That is going to be a slow process to get it all updated, but it's happening. There's a lot of updates. We also have new miniatures. Shae's is posted on our social media stuff, which is at Alberon RPG. Morwen's will be coming, I believe, next week. And then we have Guntir's and Heinrich's, which have been ordered and will be coming probably in like 4 weeks. So right at the end of February. But that's going to be super cool. We use the Hero Forge color printing, which is like a really cool tool. If you haven't checked it out, it's worth at least just playing around with. And then finally, for all of the music and sound effects, we have Sirenscape, which is a cool digital tool set for playing sound effects of fantasy and sci-fi and pretty much anything you could think of for your friends or family or to neighbors that you really don't like at full volume while you're gone for work. But however you want to use it, there's a ton of cool sound effects. You can load up your own stuff, like our theme song, which I'm about to play, because that is the last of our announcements, and we can jump in to our recap. Let me go ahead and throw on our theme song. Oh, I'm so excited. When last we played, Heinrich, you asked the book that hangs at your side, the celestial sort of connection to your patron, where could I go to repair the Staff of Twisted Fates? You were given this series, a laundry list of places, which ultimately taught you that it was not impossible. The next day, Aeshelweiss returned and gave Guntir his new set of plate mail armor, finally putting Guntir in a appropriate AC class for this level. Or really for the first time in this campaign that you've ever had decent armor.
You survived with 12.
My starting armor
was
is
so damn low.
For everybody who's like, how come Guntir dies all the time? Because Guntir doesn't wear armor. But you have this the chest piece in large parts and gunmetal hue tempered as expertly as it was before, but inlaid around the ribs, elbows, knees, the sides of the legs. the purple scales of Kindscale, the deep dragon which all of you slayed. She told you all the prophecy of Gran Mashan, which foretells a time where the various elvish cultures are reconnected to the lands of the Fae more fully. The prophecy mentioned the cradle of man, a possible reference to the pillar from which the first civilized races in Dominion emerged. She asked you to look into the breaking the weave lock, should you go. Guntir and Morwen, not quite feeling a sense of urgency, had a lovely crafternoon of hand-sewing logos onto makeshift tapestries for the oghogs that you had all acquired and then painstakingly had brushed out so that their natural dreadlocked nature had shifted to more of like a donkey mixed with a cousin it sort of abomination. But you did that. You gave the oghogs away and had them advertise the person who had given them to you. With this vital chore out of the way, you headed to the Bearded Consortium with Heinrich and Shae and cashed in your favor to travel to Pendleton, this very rich suburb within Serentil itself. Getting a lot of odd looks upon emerging in this very human-centric and sort of stuck-up burg, you quickly left and headed towards 1000 Gates, searching for clues, perhaps Heinrich, of where your mother has gone, having been threatened by Jaruxa, sort of a proxy for Azra, your former patron. Guntir, over the course of this journey, as others slept, you prayed for knowledge of how the Staff of Twisted Fates might be repaired, quote, so I can rub it in Heinrich's face, end quote. Against all odds, asking this serious, sort of strength-based patron such a question, you were granted a vision that brought you sweeping forward and onto an ocean across the land and to the Cold Forge, where you saw a group of Kulturam refugees huddling out in the protection of the space from a storm. You continued to travel as a group, encountering a huge wasp nest that a bear knocked down in front of you in a vain attempt to obtain honey from something that had none. Guntir, you, being the slowest of your party, almost fell prey to hundreds of angry stings, were it not for Heinrich's word of radiance bursting the entire swarm in a single celestial swoop. A buglet, as you called it, Heinrich. As you pulled up through the hills and the dirtier terrain, the massive walls form the rampart that separates the gated marsh from the kingdom of Serentil looms overhead. You're approached by a guard, one of a few that kind of linger outside a smaller wall. And that is where we're going to begin for the evening. So give me just 1 second. Alrighty. So, it's getting close to the evening. It's still fairly light out. It's a decently warm enough night for the winter, probably pushing 45 degrees, much nicer than what you guys have been traveling through recently. You can see in front of you the sort of smaller wall, only about 8 feet tall, less than a foot thick, fieldstone in nature. You can see bits of moss that have grown, now brown and dead for the winter. There is a 10-foot wide gate built into a gatehouse that is much more sturdy than the wall around it. You can see the gate rises an additional 8 feet up over the already tall walls. Hanging out of this gate, you can see there is a winch system that raises and lowers a wooden drawbridge style door, although there is no moat. This is just to kind of be able to retract it. Looking at this, you get the sense it wouldn't keep a terrible invasion or anything out, but it does serve as a checkpoint in from the kingdom side. You're approached by a member of the garrison here who wears chainmail armor. There's a tabard that hangs over on either side with a star and a symbolized S of Serentil on it. He has brown hair, dusting a gray that comes out, especially strong in the beard. You can see a short sword at his side. He has a hand that rests on it, but pretty easily. But kind of comes up to, I would say, Heinrich, you were leading this group?
I don't remember when we were walking out. I feel like I came out of the forest last.
Okay.
I was dealing with the bees.
That would make sense. So yeah, you and Guntir kind of towards the back. I guess it would be you, Shae.
I was going to say, I think I was leading most of it.
Yeah.
I know
For the
Shae
whole
and I
travel.
ran.
Yeah.
Sure. So walks up to you, Shae. All right, gentlefolk, standard questions.
Sure.
Now, this is the part where you answer them. So
Well, then you gotta ask him.
Are you not from around here then?
Is that one of the questions?
If you're not from around here, what the fuck sent you so far south? You know what?
Oh, wait.
It doesn't even matter, honestly.
Don't seem
You might
standard.
be trouble, but you don't seem standard. But it doesn't really matter. Please don't cause any problems. If you do, it'll be sorted out pretty naturally. We don't have the manpower to guard prisoners at the moment, so
That's
welcome
a
to the
statement.
gates. And he stands aside. His eyes narrow at you, Guntir, but he gestures in a sort of sarcastic, grandiose way. And you can step through if you wish.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Well, see you later then.
Can I
just kinda nods.
Can I scan his face for familiarity of me and my kind?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Does he seem basically like a tiefling is no big deal? 22.
So, interesting point. You did notice that he initially addressed Shae, the only human in your group.
Yep.
He doesn't. You would remember other people just staring at your antlers and looking at your kind of off complexion. You don't see that. He doesn't seem especially accepting of you, but he is not surprised or turned off in any way.
Right. Okay.
You all walk through this gate, and as you do, you can see that you are on the top of a gently sloping hill that leads miles and miles away in both directions. You would imagine it goes all the way to the sea off to your south, although you lose it in the just gentle kind of sloping and movement of the horizon. You can see there is a huge wall far beyond that separates the swamp itself, and you can see elements of it beyond, but this is a tall wall. This is 20, 25 feet tall in places. You would notice in different areas it does seem to almost jut out, and it wasn't built all at once. You can see different elements of walls probably destroyed, repaired. There are dozens of gates, even in your eyesight, on that single wall alone. You are kind of up on this hill that dips down and then rises up to a central keep. But all throughout, it's not so much a city as it is a grouping of individual castles, strongholds, keeps. You can see within these kind of low to the ground keeps entire little villages that seem arranged to be protected. Between these larger buildings and these castles, you do see there are like smaller buildings, little wooden clusters that have sprung up against keeps, kind of tucked into little sections in the walls. But the design of this place becomes pretty clear very quickly. You can see on the tops of all of these castles, these walls, the keeps, there are a armada, a bristling array of armaments. You can see huge frames of wood housing, extended arms, the rear-mounted baskets, these sort of little bit more primitive catapults. There are ballistae with bolters that are or bolts that are bigger than a man. And you can see behind all the castles, kind of between you and the actual main structure here, there are huge, towering trebuchets. They don't seem designed to launch large missiles. You see a cluster of barrels around each one, but it forms almost a siege line behind the city. And you would imagine it's designed to lob these barrels hundreds or thousands of feet. There are these little small houses clustered here and there. You can see, even at this time of night, 7 o'clock, there are people. It's a busy place. Many of them seem to be clad in leathers or a lot more common here, chainmail. We see a lot of these tabards, although not all of the forces seem part of just the garrison. You see just a city spread out in front of you. What would you like to do?
Nothing looks central, right? It's all just keeps and stuff and then a wall. There's no like town
you
center.
Would definitely imagine in the center there is, so the hillside goes down and then rises gently up, and in that kind of upper middle hill area there is a low walled keep, although it is quite thick. Mm-hmm. There's no building on the inside. It looks like a place where lots of people could kind of withdraw to in case of an emergency. That's the center of this sort of sprawl. Okay. The wall goes out hundreds. I mean, you would imagine it goes all the way to the ocean to the south, and probably to the Sunbreaker chain, that kind of strand of central mountains in the middle of the continent. This is a huge wall. This is, you're looking at the wall from Game of Thrones in terms of scope and scale.
Okay.
Wow.
Do any of these places have visible activity, or are we still a little too far?
If you want to kind of like walk down, you can kind of take a look and get a sense. But yeah, there are certainly places that are more active. There are like these little villages themselves clustered into the walls, almost like these little castles are embracing them. The walls themselves would probably protect people were there to be an attack. And you're realizing now too, the streets, there's no like small streets, they're all quite broad. But should everybody retreat into the keeps, the castles, and this main center area, this would just become channels of like areas where you could rain arrows and rocks and stones down on potential invaders. This is designed to be sieged.
Sure.
But at this time of night, with no immediate obvious threat, there is a lot of activity. You see a lot of signs that look like they might have maybe inns, taverns, keeps, although they are quite busy. You see shops. You see Heinrich, make a perception check.
Sure.
Anybody else doing anything as you guys are kind of walking down this hill?
Mm,
Looking, but not for anything in particular.
22? 17. I don't know. My math is not good.
I went like this. No. I guess I could have just gone like that, but my
It's okay.
coordination was really off right
or
now.
like
so-
17.
No,
Yeah, you
I
could
was
have
waiting
said
for
it.
him to finish, but now we can keep talking about it.
So, you see a couple of things. I mean, is there anything in particular you're looking for, or?
I mean, obviously, any sign of. Okay, there's two things that I have on my mind. One,
Sure.
any sort of obvious magic-centric areas, if there is.
You
Things that would
knowing
pique
that this
my
is
interest.
part of the Kingdom of Sarentil,
Yeah.
magic not widely practiced or really even accepted here.
Mhm.
You don't see any twisting towers with like,
Yeah. Not necessarily that as much as like gatherings of mages or whatever doing anything like. I'm looking for traces of my mom who would have come here and then left through magical means is kind of it. So tieflings and then anything that I could piece together that would be related to
Okay.
portals, fast transit, whatever, that kind of stuff.
As you walk down, you don't see any like groupings of people who look like they're arcanely inclined.
Or
With a
tieflings.
17 or tieflings, you see 0 tieflings. This is very human centric.
So it might be
As you
easier than I
guys
thought.
walk, you're getting some stares. With a 17, you see a few things. You notice as you look at the people here, a lot of them are wearing those similar kind of tabards with the S of Sarentil.
Mhm.
You would notice as you're walking down, kind of off and a little bit to the north, seeming to head towards some of the shops, there is what looks like wearing plate mail armor, although a little bit dented and kind of worn. This human who is wearing a different kind of set of iconography, and you would recognize it because you've seen it branded into the back of Guntir. It is these kind of crossing lightning bolts in this fist. They kind of disappear into the crowd and seem to weave their way out. Possibly could know magic. You know Guntir that knows magic. You see a good number of the soldiers here are wearing, because you are from the Kingdom of Sarentil, you would know the banners. There's several banners, which are kind of armies. This is the second banner of Sarentil. You can see the sort of blue tabard that crosses over the star of Sarentil. Some of them will have it like on shields. It seems as if there are multiple sort of forces here. And then you see this, you smell first, but you see kind of hopping by human-ish. It's hard to tell. They're filthy. You see like all these like little kind of elements of green growing off of them. You can see like what looks like a little jar that's hanging off of what looks like a bandolier of leather. And as you walk by, there's like a live frog that kind of follows you as it goes by. But looks like they just came out of a swamp. And that's kind of what you would see.
Okay. None of those immediately grabbed my attention other than, I guess, the army folk. Well, I'll just say noted and instead for me at least, since we're gonna be here for it, I'm gonna just start looking for a tavern, I guess,
Okay.
for a place to like post up, since we probably can't just openly camp.
Sure. Anybody else? Anything you guys want to do?
I'm hungry.
Hunter is hungry.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying to
Where
find
we
a
going?
tavern. Thinking of trying to find a tavern.
Alright, not a bad idea. Go find one.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna
look
go
around.
do.
I haven't ever been here specifically, right? I've
You
been
haven't been here.
around, but not in this.
You've been across the gated marsh in Mudtown,
Yeah.
where you're roughly from, and then you've been to Nocturne, which is northeast, maybe by like 2-3 days.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
So you
So,
guys,
yeah.
begin
Okay.
to
Well,
look for a
I'll
tavern
find,
or not.
I'll find the tavern. Y'all can just stand still if you'd like.
No, I'm gonna come with, but
Okay.
I also just remembered that my old friend Rhodesia's moved here, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well cool. Eyes are open for her, even though it's a slim chance.
Make a perception
Oh.
check.
Whoops, whoops.
Do you say that out loud? Would I know that you would do that? Because I don't quite remember her as much since I wasn't as close, other than just helping her out once.
I wonder if Rhodesia's here.
Oh,
Ro!
That's right. That's the one who gave you your shop.
roll
right?
what? I don't have any oars.
We killed her husband.
Who?
Quote unquote.
Petus.
What?
I regret so many names that I
Last week.
Penis.
Oh, penis! I thought you said something else.
That's right. Yeah, she was the one that gave Morwen her shop. Morwen's Miscellaneous.
Well, Penis is dead. He didn't give anyone anything.
Right. Which is why I said Ro did. She was the really kind woman near the seaport in Port Quinn.
She's my friend, and I would like to find her. Last I heard, she was moving here. I rolled a 17.
And that's also good because we need at least some sort of orientation here, it seems. This is quite large. I was not prepared for this.
Oh, did we kill the... we burned that orc in the basement.
Right. And
Ah,
someone made gnome bacon or something. Which was
Yeah.
awesome.
that
I
was
think
good.
I did. I think I participated in that.
That was gnome?
Let's just move on.
Oh, poor gnome. He was a good guy.
Heinrich, as you're walking.
Chicken.
Morwen, what was your perception check as you look for Ro?
17.
Okay. Heinrich, as you're walking, you begin to notice a pretty common trend. There are a lot of taverns and inns. You see as you walk, using your old perception check, you walk by a variety. You walk by things like the Rusty Horseshoe, the Road of Fortune, the Keepsake Inn, the Pickworth Tavern. They all share in common that there is a no vacancy sign outside of them. You see they are filled with soldiers.
That and they're also the adjective noun. I do not miss that detail, and I note it in my travel journal.
There you
They
go.
all have articles in front of them.
Yeah, so you note that if you want. But you do, over the course of maybe about 20 minutes of kind of walking up and down the central stretch, you would find there is a place called the Drunken Beggar, similar to your naming conventions.
Aha.
It's a
I
roughshod
see a
inn that
pattern.
has two main buildings that are joined by a broad corridor that serves as like a lobby. It seems like it's like an okay place. It's not especially nice. You see the Dueling Dukes, which is a large 3-story inn with a small balcony on each floor. There's like an interior chimney that rises out of the middle, and it provides heat for each room. You also see the Wild Leaf, which is the smallest that actually has rooms available. It's quite small. And there is, as far as you can see, listed outside, only one room that is available. It's like an L-shaped cottage with 2 floors, and there is actually an outdoor bar that is connected to it in like a little patio of laid stone.
You're making me miss real civilization, Joe.
I know, right? But those would be the taverns or the inns that you would see that do have available rooms.
All right.
Which
Since
one
I'm not
looks,
going to be sleeping in one, y'all pick.
Which one looks like it's got the best beer selection?
The only one that you can see outwardly with a bar on the outside is the Wild Leaf. However, Guntir, are you like going up and peeking into each one?
No, I'm using my bar intuition as Guntir.
Make a survival
we've
check
been
at
through
advantage.
many. I mean, I'm sure there is actually some like hints to the nice stuff.
Yeah.
There certainly are.
You might even be able to hawk some of your rare
That
shit
was
that we got from Culture.
that was really
me.
bad
Okay.
both times. It was a 4 and a 1.
Well.
So it's a 9.
Well, what I'll say is you kind of look at the drunken beggar, and it has drunk right in the word. So you'd imagine there's probably some gear there. You do.
All right, my choice is made. I'm walking towards the drunken beggar.
Okay, everybody else?
I kind of look at Shae and I'm not surprised. You're not surprised. This is all right. Let's go.
I'm
Let's
glad that I
follow
rolled
him.
Okay.
so poorly on such a critical choice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get him out of the way now.
Yeah, if you're gonna roll badly, this is not like
Yeah.
the worst place to do so, you know. Guntir, you lead the group, and as you kind of push through, you find sort of this like really it's as you open the door, it's a little worse for wear on the inside than you were expecting.
Oh,
That being said, just give me 1 second here.
Even worse than the name implies.
So walking into the interior space, like especially as you first do, it is like it's crowded. The doors open and there is this kind of short, maybe like 12-foot long bar. There are no seats. It's standing room only. You can see as you step in, your feet kind of sink into the floor a little bit. It's just layers and layers of thrushes. And as you wonder kind of why that would be a choice, you see one of the people kind of leaning on the bar. And just throws up onto the ground. You see the bartender look over, fuck, and just pulls another armful of these and just tosses them on top. You would imagine this is a filthy establishment.
So I imagine I'm the last one in, and I'm just gonna be like,
Just turn
Right out.
Sure.
Yeah, I think even Guntir is like,
I want to sit down.
287
I mean,
years old is tough
truly,
on the bones.
that's really what it is here. I want to sit.
Okay, so one by one, you
I'm
walk
out.
in and just turn back.
Guntir goes,
I'm out.
It's not the puke. It's the lack of seating here. That's the issue.
as I'm leaving, I'm gonna be like,
Get some stools.
I don't know if you know this, but dwarves typically use stools, and the dwarves are kind of the only class or race that really does that. So very appropriate.
Yeah,
You turn around and leave.
love a good stool.
Where are you guys going to?
what place has the best
Let's try the.
Can I try to
other
look
one.
for a
tuning
bar?
where the best stools
Morwen,
are?
make a survival check.
Gunter, you that was your pick. Now it's my turn.
Well, I was
Guidance.
You said survival. Wait, what did you say?
With guidance, so
Guidance.
it's a D4 onto that.
All right. So that's
Nice.
18.
I also want to point out, I like that you guys just in one quick like 10-minute moment decided, yeah, we're gonna teleport to this place in this wide range of teleportation circles. But to find a bar, it's like an hour-long process. I love it. What was it? It was an 18?
Yeah.
well, we want to find good stools.
Looking at these places, you would get the sense that probably the Wildleaf has the best bar. It's the smallest inn, so maybe not the place to stay, but certainly the best place of the places that you've heard of so far to drink.
All right.
Okay. You guys turn back around and walk another 20 feet back the way you came. You turn into this small kind of alley, and at the end of it, there is
This place
this.
is tiny.
It is small in comparison.
Yeah, well, then you'll fit right in.
It's an L-shaped cottage, 2
I'm tall
stories,
for my age.
and there's an outdoor bar, and there's a guy there, I guess. So you can walk up and introduce yourself. It is an outdoor bar. You can see walk-up seating. There are seats. There are roughly 5, although not right together, that are available. But it's like an L-shaped bar. There's a large brazier on either side with roaring flames that provide heat outdoors. And you actually smell, as you get closer, the smell of roasting pork.
This is the spot.
I'm going to find a seat.
Okay. You go and kind of find your seat without too much trouble, without too much jostling. You kind of like, people will move a little bit because you're a group. You find 4 seats together.
Excuse me, do you mind scooching down one?
I got friends.
The woman there, you can see human woman, and vastly human-centric, this place. Although all of you, and Morwen and Heinrich in particular, the two of you are used to getting weird stares. You're not getting stared at necessarily. People look at you, and there are some unfriendly looks. Not fazed by this. There's nobody who looks like afraid, which for you, Heinrich, especially.
More
very
like we're new, not weird.
You're new and you're weird, but you're not
Well,
dangerous.
okay, yeah, okay.
Oh, well, they're wrong about that.
You
They
shouldn't have
certainly
said
are.
that, Joe. You shouldn't have said that.
Wait, so we're getting bad looks like we were in the place before.
There are people who are looking at you like, no. So before you were getting like open stares, you were getting like some disdainful looks. People look up at you annoyed and then go about their business.
Oh, okay.
It's
So they're
it's
not,
like Boston.
gawking
More
at
like they're
us.
generally
Yeah, I got
just
you.
annoyed at Liv and
Yeah.
less annoyed at us.
It's like Boston.
It's
Gotcha.
Downtown Crossing versus Needham.
Yeah, sure. You guys kind of approach. You stand. You sit down on
Wellesley,
these
I
stools. Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said Needham, but whatever. They're
Good old
next to each
Wellesley.
other.
This is like local Massachusetts banter for you. This woman approaches. Her hair fairly short and kind of flares out at the end. You can see these two big hoop earrings, but she smiles at each of you. A little bit dirty. Almost everybody here is like a little bit dirty, but not like Guntir dirty.
Hey, I cleaned up recently. Took a
Yeah,
bath
that's
earlier.
true. Yeah,
But then
I
we
think
went
we're all
out
pretty.
and slept
We're all
in
pretty clean.
the...
yeah. You guys last bathed 3 days ago, unless you did on the trip. So,
Well, I
either
probably
way,
bathe the most because cat.
3 days is good for you guys. That's like a pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty clean.
On this
Yeah.
note, actually, Heinrich is going to stand up and look for a restroom.
Okay,
Just in
so
case. Just in case Gunter starts mouthing off, I don't want to necessarily get into it.
I was
with
like,
him.
just in case, like, what? You have to go?
she leans on the bar and just says, "Welcome all of you to the Wild Leaf." And she sees you standing up, Heinrich, and says, "If you're looking for a bathroom, you could just go in through the front door and straight ahead.
And then I'll do that.
But for the rest of you, can I get you a drink?
Yes.
Tabaxi. That's very unusual in these parts.
Thank you.
Can you see better in the dark?"
Probably.
You mean like better than in light, or just better than you?
Both.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good question. I guess both, like Gunter said.
Hey, how do you know my name?
Back to the day, but
Do you-
maybe you.
Do you ask that?
Yeah.
What do you?
Okay. She turns to you and she looks and kind of says, "You've been to Nocturne before. It's where I'm from. I kind of figured that's why you came here. You don't recognize me." Make an insight check if you want.
14?
You don't sense anything off. I mean, okay. You get the sense that there is something.
Oh, wait,
that,
sorry. That's a 19.
Okay. You see in their eyes this kind of flicker. It's almost as if they've been caught and they feel like they've messed up. You don't get the sense that they're lying. But as they kind of look at you back and forth, you're getting the sense that it's more like they're kind of worried that they messed up in front of you, Gunter. But they kind of turn and say, "Well, I do see a lot of people in Nocturne, so maybe it's just a mistake. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm
it
very,
must be
very
just
sorry
a
about that."
mistake. I didn't go by Gunter when I was there. Well, wait, my name is not Gunter.
I'm sure that I don't recognize you. It's quite okay. But what can I get you? We have a few things on tap, but if I could recommend something, we do have a little bit of Jaded, which is it's a very, very bitter ale, but I like it quite a bit, and it has sort of these floral elements to the end.
I'm a little bit jaded too.
I'll
So
have
perfect for
one.
you. Fantastic for you.
Can I have some of that pork too?
Yes, that is a specialty, and if I could say so myself, we do have the best food in all of 1,000 Gates, so you made a
We'll
fantastic
be the
choice.
judge of that.
Oh, I imagine you will be, but nobody's ever complained about it, so I look
Oh,
forward
you
to it.
haven't met me yet.
Well, maybe
You can
she
see
has.
when you say that, you can see in her eyes, she's like really like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Like she really is she Gunter, from you having so many different identities, you get the sense that she feels like she just blew your identity and is trying to figure out how best to rectify that, but you're kind of like making it real tough for her.
She's
but
really risking her tip right now.
she nods. Is there gonna be food for everybody?
Heinrich probably won't.
Oh, are you guys not with us?
He's in the bathroom.
I'm in the
Oh.
bathroom. The one thing that no one makes a point to, insert into
Yeah, fine,
realistic fantasy.
Except for
we'll
me.
get him some
Yep,
pork.
you're
Bathrooms
welcome.
on every fantasy map.
He'll probably be
Yeah.
hungry after he has
Let's
his
get him a
cookie.
beer too. Maybe he'll loosen up. He'll chill.
Yeah.
Right, so 4
Two
drinks.
for me, please. I'll just
5
keep him
drinks.
coming. No, yeah.
You've got it, strange dwarf. So 5 drinks and food for everybody. Give me just a moment. She turns. You can see she pulls out this big, it's like a magnum bottle, and it is glass, which would indicate that it is probably pretty expensive. Pulls the cork out, and you can hear the as it comes out, and the sort of fizz as this. It's very, very carbonated for a bottle treated beer. Pours 2 glasses, pops another bottle, pours 2 glasses, and just slides them across. Pours another one for you, Guntir, and slides it over. So there's 2 in front of you, or 3 actually, because Heinrich's is as well. Walks over and pulls out. You can see there is now that she rotates the spit, there's most of a full pig that has been roasting kind of often in the back. Pulls out a fairly dull dagger and sets to work cutting off a big portion, which goes down on the plate. And as she puts it in front of you, you can see the juices of this meat like flowing onto the plate, little bits of the grease kind of floating on top of that. The skin itself, as she sets it down, you can hear it kind of crackling still from the fire. The smell is that of pork and lemon and pepper. It smells pretty good.
All right, well, I'll be the judge of that. And I'm going to start eating the pork, and then I'm going to top it off with one of my tasty beers.
Okay. You eat this pork, you bite into it, the skin cracks in your mouth, and it bursts with this almost like open flame kind of flavor. The pepper hits next, and then finally the soft, kind of subtle pork seeps across your mouth. Your mouth just floods with saliva. It's delicious. You wash it down with this cold beer. It's incredibly bitter. This is, over 100 IBUs. Probably in like the 110 range, mouth puckering. And then as your mouth relaxes a little bit, you taste citrus and evergreen. It's pretty good.
How does it pair with the pork?
Well, this is clearly designed to go together.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to alternate bites and sips until I finish the pork, and then I'm just going to down the other beer.
Okay. Heinrich,
As a
while this
coup
is
de grace.
happening, you... a coup de grace. Sorry, that made me laugh. Heinrich, you walk into the actual building itself. You can see hardwood floors. You can see these kind of muddled, almost eggshell walls. There are dark wooden beams that kind of separate and cross off. Right in front, there is no door, but you can see 3 stalls in this bath. It's a nice bathroom for this place.
Sure.
You can go about your business and return to your friends.
Well, I was
Unless
actually
there's
gonna,
anything-
I was actually going to use this to just scout out, see if there's any people known about.
Even
it.
just from being in here, you can hear people. You hear voices in some of the rooms. It's fairly small. You can see there's only 2 rooms on this floor, and then a set of stairs that goes up. You would imagine probably 4 or 5 up there. You hear voices upstairs. You hear a lot of it sounds like somebody either doing like workout kind of stuff or dancing upstairs. But there's definitely activity going on. You smell food coming from within this place from various spots.
But there's no milling about people or anything.
No, there's a door at the end of the hall that's kind of cracked open. You hear like a child's voice. You hear like some laughter, probably like a parent and a kid like getting ready for bed.
Yeah, don't want to bust in. I was really just thinking if there was a common room or something. But okay.
No, this seems like it's mostly this, and to that point, this is kind of for fewer, like you don't see soldiers here necessarily like you have throughout most of this place. This seems to be more visitors, family members. It is a more kind of peaceful and private space.
All right. Well, I'll go to the most private space and do that thing and rejoin.
Yeah, so you walk into the room with the kid and the mom, you take a shit.
No,
right into it.
no, that's not as private as the dancer.
You utilize, that's fair. There's fewer people there. You use the bathroom when you return to your friends. You
Sure,
see
sure.
Guntir just rip the last bit of meat off of a stray bone and then pound a beer, letting out a loud belch at the end.
Mhm.
Guntir, make a Constitution saving throw at advantage for me because you're a dwarf and you do have advantage against poison.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's Constitution. Whatever 14 plus my modifier is.
Great, loud belch. You feel the alcohol begin to run as like your blood takes on that warm, familiar, almost like an embrace from the inside. And instead of feeling drunk, you just feel more awake.
Nah. Actually, I see that Heinrich's not back yet, and his is still sitting there.
And I see
Okay.
that he sees that I'm not back yet.
I'm gonna.
Heinrich? Are you racing for the beer?
No. I'm just watching. I'm like, no.
I'm gonna drink it, and then I'm gonna be like, Tomar over here.
You've got it. She's already pouring you a second one because you'd said keep them coming, but then she just pours the other one and slides them over, takes your empty cups away. So I'll take it that you like it then.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
good.
we have different things every night, so feel free to come back.
Guntir, you have cash, right? Like, is that taken too?
Yeah, no, I got. That's all they didn't take. It was like
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Just kind of cleaning glasses and sees you return. Welcome back. Your friends got you a drink and some food, so enjoy it.
Thanks. I think they just had it, but.
No, it's right there.
Oh, so you didn't. All right. I thought you were saying you were going to do that.
You did.
No,
You drank yours and then brought two more.
replaced it.
Gotcha. Like, all right, sure. I'll just sit down.
I got you a fresh one because that one was sitting there the whole time. I'm being
kind of-
You did me a
considerate.
favor.
It's very nice
Yeah.
of you. Thank you.
You should be thanking me.
You should buy him.
Literally just did, but okay.
She's just kind of looking at you guys and says, well, this seems like a very close group then.
Yeah.
Where are you all coming from? You're not from around here. I haven't seen you at least, so.
Pendleton.
Well,
Pendleton.
Pendleton originally.
Yeah, we just came from Pendleton.
Wow, you're from the light of the north. I've always wanted to travel, but I've never gotten that far.
Oh, what?
What
Oh,
about
yeah,
you,
she's from
Tabaxi?
the north.
Huh?
Points at you, Morwen. What about you, Tabaxi?
Same.
From Port Quinn, then? Okay. I've never heard of a Tabaxi from Port Quinn. I've only actually ever heard of two. I almost got to meet one once. Kind of
you
flips
met one
over at
once,
you.
Right here.
That's a good point. I guess I have now.
Just happened.
And what about you? And she turns her gaze to you, Shae.
From a place that is much colder than here.
Also
Somewhere up
north.
then. That
Yeah.
would make sense.
It's quite
Yes.
warm. A little uncomfortable.
Sort of ironic that the only human amongst you is from the furthest away.
Huh,
Well,
good point.
let me know if you need anything else. And she kind of turns and begins to put the pig back and clean up a few things.
Yeah, now that it's inconvenient for her. Yes, I have a question.
Of course, yeah. What can I do for you?
Maybe it's a long shot, but I was just wondering, do you know anyone who goes by the name of Rhodesia?
I can't say that the name rings a bell. Somebody who works somewhere nearby, or what kind of
Just,
person is Rhodesia?
Just a friend that I was hoping to visit while we were here.
Well, if they're in the garrison, then they'll be either in one of the barracks or because there has been sort of an overflow since the second banner came into town.
More
They
of a
could be-
trader. Someone who might have set up shop or something.
Why'd
A
the
traitor.
second banner get here?
Or at least originally.
Well, she kind of looks back and forth. There's three people now talking to her. Well, to answer your question, you're looking for a trader, somebody who came by. There's been many of them. They travel to and from. This is the furthest point south, and there is good money to be made here. So a lot of the soldiers here, when they get paid, it's not like there's a lot of stuff to spend it on. Say food, drink, some little trinkets here and there. So it's a very popular spot for traders.
Well, right.
There's nobody-
Is there a centralized area, or would we just have to kind of mill from castle to castle?
There are a few centralized spots that you could kind of head out. And she sort of like comes to the bar. You can see for her, not terribly tall. She has to kind of get up onto it a little bit and points beyond you. You follow her pointing past a few people who walk out of the way. And you can see there is like this larger kind of keep a little bit to the west. If you head in that direction, there's an armory, there's the trust company, there's general stores, leather workers, the quartermastery, pretty much everything that you could need. There's even a place, the Stoneflow Surplus opened up pretty recently. So in terms of new traders, that's one of them.
Stone flows Douglas, you say?
Yes, but if you're looking for something of a more strange nature, as you do all seem to be adventurers, you could try Olmsworthy's Essentials. He's sort of a strange guy, but friendly enough.
Well, Elmsworth Essentials?
Olmsworthy, he was a member of the garrison for a very long time, a captain actually, but retired, and he mostly sells things. Actually, he's a smart man. He capitalizes on what soldiers need. So he's come into some source of magic and has quite a few little nifty trinkets.
Sounds fun. Yeah.
If you want to make a history check, you can see if you know who Olmsworthy is, Guntir.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Who's this guy?
Oh, we were probably like best friends or something. That's a dirty 20.
Your history checks aren't determining what your history with them was. It is going back. So you only wrote a certain amount of Guntir's 287 years of history. I have written the rest, and Guntir doesn't remember. Trust me, I know. I wrote it.
It would be the worst if you rolled a natural one.
22?
That was a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yeah.
Olmsworthy, you don't know any Olmsworthys, but Olmsworthy, that's like an old school Sarantilian name. That's like maybe a noble family, but somebody from this region and somebody probably from a pretty old family here. But outside of that, you wouldn't know much.
So what's this about the second banner?
Oh, right. So the second banner came through, if you're not all from around here, but you're from Pendleton, so you should have heard about this, but you are all... You're very hard to keep a tab on there, Mr. Dwarf person.
Yeah, keep them guessing. Whoa. Which way am I going?
You're just sitting there.
I'm tired.
The second banner came through because we've had quite an insurgence of attacks from the Gated Marsh. We had quite a bad one a couple of weeks ago, and then since then, it's been pretty quiet, but for a long time, we were having trouble. They breached the walls a number of times, and we needed the assistance, quite frankly. We have a couple of different outfits. We have some mercenaries in here, which I would, between you and me, just steer clear of. But beyond the second banner, beyond the garrison, the Priesthood of Thunder had a few people come through. The Circle of Ilmarsh had a number of the druids from it come, and they've helped out, although they're quite strange. And then even Nocturne sent some of the Shadow Ward or the Shade Wards, which they're also pretty creepy, but they keep to themselves mostly. The Church of Six sent some people to investigate the weird goings-ons that happened after the attack. But aside from that, I mean, there's a smattering of mercenary groups as well.
What happened to the first banner?
Oh, the first banner, if I don't know a ton about the military goings-on, but as far as I know, they're in the Valley of Tranquility. It's a hard one to say just normally and then with an accent. The Valley of Tranquility, it's to the north. I'm sure you know where it is.
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
Yeah, it's the way we didn't go to come here, right?
Yes.
Or would have gone to Dungannon instead.
Dungannon's the other coast. So the Valley of Tranquility is this valley that you guys have not been to. It is within the Sunbreaker chain of mountains. It is the most protected and most isolated part of the continent. It is extraordinarily racist. It's not officially humans only. None of you have ever heard of a non-human that's gone there.
Dope.
So,
yeah, ironic.
where are we gonna find? Who's in charge here?
And well, I run this place, but if you're talking about the garrison itself,
yeah, who's in charge here?
Best of luck reaching them. But if you're looking for the person in charge of the entire garrison, that's the Shield Urshima Boltov. Sort of a bear of a woman. Yeah, sort of hard to miss.
Okay, so we're looking for a bear woman.
A bear of a woman. So it's an expression. You're aware of expressions, yeah. So just a large woman. She's strong.
Well, we don't need luck, though we have a bit of.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. I'm gonna just be like, thanks for the info. I'm just gonna eat my food.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. Goes back to cleaning things up. Without too much trouble, you guys make your way through dinner, have the drinks that you would like to have. Are you staying and just like crushing a whole bunch of beers, or what are you guys doing?
I think we need to
we
find a
stay
place
here?
to stay.
Is there...
Oh yeah, you got any rooms for us?
We do. We are a bit crowded, and I don't know that all of you would fit, but just give me a second. She pulls out this little ledger as I look into my notes. In total, we only really have about 7 rooms. Most of them are occupied. It looks like we have 2 rooms available, which could sleep 3.
Ah, that's probably fine.
Yeah, that's like perfect.
Yeah, we bunch up.
Yeah.
Well, then that should work
A
out
very
fine.
soft pillow.
That should work out fine.
It's also convenient. I don't have to keep one in my sack.
So one of the rooms does have a king bed, and the other 2 have. The other one has 3 twins. So you guys can all sort that out. There's enough room on the floor where you could absolutely spread out if you wish. But for only the 2 rooms, that's going to be give you a bit of a discount. I like you. And she points to you, Heinrich. Just call it 2 gold pieces for the lot of you.
I'm going to lay down 4 gold pieces for the beer and the food and the rooms and a little bit extra.
Well, if you're paying for the beer and the food, that's not a little bit extra. That's actually just a little bit under.
How embarrassing. And I take out 4 more gold.
Her eyes go up a little bit. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your patronage.
Yeah.
Oh, and are we like done with dinner? You like pack up a little bit? Okay. So then I'm just gonna kind of like sidebar. What's her name? Did we get her name?
You did not.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna sidebar her anyway and be like,
Sure.
Since we're staying the night, if you happen to, hear any whereabouts of my friend Rhodesia, there's a little extra gold for you.
I appreciate that. I would have told you if I had heard anything about her, but if you're looking for a member of the garrison, you should try to look out for the ones that have these kind of blue shoulder pads. Those are the watchers. They're sort of the...
They watch.
Yeah, they run shifts of the garrison. They could probably direct you to her.
Well, okay. Good night.
What time is it?
Are you asking her?
Yeah.
Kind of looks up at the stars that are now twinkling overhead. I'd guess probably close to 7:30, 8 o'clock.
All right.
Is there any like entertainment in the city? I want to see
Well,
a good show.
What are you talking in terms of entertainment?
Fun
Got
stuff
any
to
like
do.
music, some dancing?
Got any gambling?
Gambling, not so much. If you want to gamble, you should head to Nocturne. There's quite a bit of that there.
Oh yeah.
This, I'm sure you're all aware, but this was a military outpost for the most part. This is kind of sprung up around at the city, but there are a number of things. Unfortunately, the sort of stage, the only place that had live music, was destroyed in the large attack that I spoke of previously. The Church of the Six has sort of been strict on keeping it off limits, so you can't quite get there at the moment. But once it reopens, I would highly recommend going to the Sober Scholar. It is a tavern of sorts, but they have the best live music, really the only live music in 1000 Gates.
Sober Scholar?
The Sober Scholar, yes. It looks like a barn, and it was a barn at one point, but much nicer on the inside.
Oh, kind of like the opposite of the drunken beggar.
Have you been to the Drunken Beggar?
Well, we walked in and it was just awful. They didn't have any stools.
It's called the Drunken Beggar for a reason.
Because it's...
Yeah, you beg for seats.
There are no seats in the Drunken Beggar. It's just so
Yeah,
crowded.
it was terrible.
Well, they kept getting broken too, I think.
Well,
That's why we came here. So, lucky you.
And lucky you. You're going to have a
Yeah.
wonderful night's sleep. I guarantee it.
I don't know. My lumbars are pretty...
Well, I would recommend not bringing wood to bed with you. But let me go ahead and give you... And she pulls out these 2 keys and hands them both to you, Guntir, because you paid.
Aha! All right.
right,
Which
you
one
get
go
the
into-
king.
I
You
go
get
Which
into
the
one's to the
king.
king size?
The one in your left hand.
Ah! I throw the other one in the direction of Heinrich.
Okay.
But-
Heinrich,
Which I'm right next to
Wait,
you,
we want
so
the
it's-
king size bed, don't
No,
we?
I kept
he
the
has the
left
king
one.
size.
Oh, I thought you threw the king one at Heinrich. I was like,
No.
Yeah. yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Okay.
it would just go to waste.
Yeah.
You take your keys. Are you guys all heading up to your respective rooms for the evening, or is there anywhere that you wish to go out on the town?
Hearing what she suggested, nah.
Oh, it's not in the morning.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna look to Shae and just be like, you have any business you want to attend to? Any scouting out we want to do before we have to all do it together?
I mean, I can certainly go find a vantage point if you would like.
Or just like take a stroll and see if we can find anything.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys go take a stroll. We'll hold down the fort here.
We got our own room, it's fine.
I feel
You got your
I
own
just got a
floor.
shot of fear through my soul. So, Heinrich and Shae, you guys go out on a post-dinner walk just to help the digestion.
Mhm.
And it's, I mean, as you go outside, it is cold, but a combination of the beer that you just drank, the food in your belly,
And my
it's
dope
much more
ass
tolerable.
fur jacket I got from Culturon.
And your dope ass fur jacket that you got from Culturon.
It's warm. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, for you, Shae, it is quite warm.
Yeah.
But you head out into the, and worth noting, it is dark, but you can see people have hung, or you have no idea who hung, but somebody has hung lanterns on various points, so there is light as you go.
Just want to get a lay of the land. You know, do some scouting, snooping, walking.
Yeah.
Heinrich and Shae, either Ethan, my words, either you can, Ethan, you can either each make a perception check, or one of you can make it at advantage.
I will refuse. You can go right
Sick.
ahead.
As you walk out the door, Heinrich
Politely
closes
decline.
both of his eyes.
Yes. Hold up. You guide me.
That's a natural
Ow.
20.
Yeah, fine. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Fucking hell.
As you're walking, Shae, you get a real good lay of the land. Your eyes darting about. It's busy here, and it's hard for you to keep track of the figures as they walk by, but you do catch a glimpse of a few interesting things. You see, walking a good distance away, you actually hear it first, the kind of clang, clang, and you look almost 7 feet tall, curved shadow iron mask, with like a hood that goes over the back, and as the face just kind of turns away from you, you see it's shaped like a sneering demon, but dark plate mail armor. You see a two-handed sword slung across the back as they kind of push through. You would imagine that is one of the Shade Wards from Nocturne. You see. You go past the other inns the Drunken Beggar off to your right. You hear like a small fight happening in there and feel good about your decision not to go there. You walk for about 10 more minutes and you pass something called the Arcsmelter's Armory. It's this large 2-story blacksmith. There's a number of forges. You hear hammers and kind of clang of things happening. You can see across the street from that, there's something called the Trust Company, which is like this single-story workshop, but really wide and spread out. You see, because there is no doors, a massive forge in the middle, just like huge, and it's surrounded by anvils. There's only 4 or 5 people who are working in there. You see the only non-humans that you've seen really so far, 2 dwarves, a dragonborn, and actually, point in fact, your first tiefling. And I would say, Heinrich, given your knowledge on these things, these are all people who are resistant to the intense heat of that forge. You see ahead of you this place called the Leather and Spool. It's like a leatherware company. You see the quartermastery that was mentioned previously. It is formerly an armory. You could see a lot of it at some point has been shattered and smashed downwards and then rebuilt with wood. But there's elements of the original stone structure. And Heinrich, and actually I would say Shae with a natural 20, you look at it and like trace back to one of those massive trebuchets. It looks like this was probably hit by a misfire at some point. But seems to be sort of just like a general store. Very small in the front, but a huge kind of warehouse in the back. You get to a point, this is a crowded store. All around, this is the most crowded place. And there is what looks to you, Shae, kind of like a neon sign in the front that reads Stoneflow Surplus. It is perfectly rectangular, pale ivory stone bricks that make up this boxy kind building with a dome on the top. There's various kind of glass circular skylights that allow light during the day on the inside. You see balconies on the top of the structure. Each has like these shrouded items on metal stands, and then there's steam rising steadily from the building. You would see Shae and Heinrich as you look in up on the wall, although there are people crowding the counter, and this like poor, weird-looking dwarf kind of like overwhelmed behind, but you see firearms. You also would, you see everything. What do you want to see? What do you want to find, Shae?
I suppose Shae in particular would be looking for Nazara or others who look like her.
Okay.
Or anything that she would recognize as familiar.
You don't originally kind of see anything that looks like Uriel's watch kind of armor or clothing. However, with that perception check, you do notice, as you're kind of cresting a little bit of a hill that is right where that large armory is, and you start turning to the right on this broad path, there's an area that seems to be less active, almost sealed off, actually. You can see this seems to be like a stretch of buildings, and there's dozens of torches that are kind of hung around this place, not lanterns, but to illuminate it at night. There are guards kind of around a perimeter here. You see at least 6 on the perimeter alone. Full plate mail, flowing knee-length tabards of snow white. Behind each, you can see these kind of halberd or pole arm-like weapons that you haven't actually seen before. And I would say with that perception check, without even making a religion check, emblazoned on the side, you see the sword, the winged sword of Tempest, the god of war. These seem to be maybe paladins. There's a large fire in the center of this kind of cordoned off space, surrounded by high, thin wooden walls that have been hastily raised. And I would say, seeing all of this and calling Heinrich's attention to it, between the two of you, you see these are the sigils and the framework of the Church of Six. Mm-hmm. And I would say with a natural 20, Shae, there is a figure that you've seen before. You see tall, maybe like close to 6'4", 6'5". This snow white hood is now down, and you can see almost alabaster gray skin. Seems to be directing somebody who then hurries off to accomplish something. But you can see this sort of these chains that hang down from Euthelius's neck. You've only met him once before. But even as you observe him across this great distance, you see he turns and his eyes meet yours. Almost impossible for you to see, but there is eye contact. And you know that he has seen you. But he turns back and continues kind of doing what he's doing.
Is he sequestered in a way that we couldn't get to him, or could we just walk up at this point?
You get the sense that you're going to be stopped. You see these big armored individuals. They don't have weapons drawn, but they are very vigilant. And you get this sense of maybe anxiety, or they're on guard.
Okay. Shae, I think at that point would still keep walking, but linger in a way, just to kind of get a sense of what he's doing, and see if he comes over. But
okay. Heinrich, you doing anything?
I'll see that and just what is it, Shae? Do you see something important? Do you know someone over there?
What do your elven eyes see?
Do you remember that member of the Church of the Six that we met in Port Quinn? Euthelius was his name?
Is that's not the guy that also had a book and was similar to me?
Sure was.
Okay.
You would remember him specifically because he stares into your soul.
Yeah.
He is kind of an intense guy.
Yeah, that was so long ago.
It was the last time that you saw him was December 20th, 2019.
Well,
Real person time.
Okay, so wow, we haven't seen him for months.
Yes, it has
or
been
at least a few weeks.
Almost 5 months. You saw him the second time you went to Port Quinn, not the third.
Right, coming back from the south.
We were still playing in your dining room, Miles.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the moment that we met him, you were sketching out the finger gang design for the first time.
Yeah.
So to give you some
boy.
context, yeah.
That T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's seen at least me. Probably you
Okay,
as
well,
well.
that's-
So
Maybe good that we have someone familiar here. He's definitely someone who would have the type of knowledge that at least I'm seeking. Maybe not the exact knowledge, but that's good to know.
he at least
They
knows
look
that
busy.
we're here. Yes,
Yeah.
that there seems to be a lot going on.
Okay. Tomorrow we can return to that one. So I got 2 places now that I want to check out. This walk has been a good idea. Also, like, totally don't need to use the bathroom again. I'm just digesting it perfectly. It's great. It's walking.
Nice.
Love walking. All right.
Word.
For Morwen's sake, is there any way that we could look for Ro?
So,
like, I'm trying to think of a way that
Shae,
would
with
make
this
sense.
natural 20, as you continue
Okay.
to walk, you linger for a little bit and you keep heading kind of towards that main central keep. It seems it's like right in the middle of town. It seems like a good point to get to and then kind of turn back. With your incredibly good sight, you can see, so the walls here are not perfectly straight. They kind of go in and out, and there's towers that rise up. Tucked into an alcove of one, you see flickering torchlight. You hear the sound of voices coming from it as you get a little closer. It's almost impossible to see. And then faintly, you smell the smoky, fragrant, kind of piney pipe leaf that you remember Guntir, very similar to what Guntir had smoked before and Morwen had smoked before. For those of you who have not followed along with this campaign, they're smoking weed.
Yeah.
It's pipe leaf, and it's
It's pipe
legal in most places.
In all parts of Sarental, it is legal now, actually. Which actually only happened now 2 years ago in game time. I digress. You get the sense that there is almost like a little hidden bar over there. And then the smell that kind of comes from there as you get a little bit closer, it's this like delightfully sweet, almost zesty kind of berry smell. But you can do with that what you would like to do.
Is it familiar in any way to either of us?
It's not familiar in any way. Are you turning away from it, or because that's kind of like where you were headed to then turn around? So,
I have no interest in pipe leaf.
So,
but-
is that something that was sold like in the spice market, basically in Port Quinn?
it was,
Would
yeah.
that be like a familiar home smell to me, given that it's probably the only place that I smelled it, or no?
You've smelled pipe leaf a lot growing up in the docks. I mean, that's
Yeah,
you know.
in Port Quinn, exactly. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, does it like, connect those synapses in my brain of like,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
okay, well then
Weed
for that
reminds you of
reason, I will
home.
go, it smells like Port Quinn. Maybe we can go check that out.
Sure. You
Just
guys
poke my head in.
approach, and as you do, before you can even poke your head in, you can just hear this kind of voice off to the side. Hang on one second, let me find it here. For food tonight, we have some quickly grilled, simple venison caught last night by Volan, actually. And then you hear from out of sight still, "Oh my God, how is Volan?" And you can just hear the other voice go, "Oh, he's getting by, but caught by a local hunter, just a bit of salt, pepper, thyme." Do you guys want to enter?
Is that certainly Rose?
Certainly,
voice?
Ro, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sort of poke.
You go around the corner and you see, first of all, this wooden sign and painted in this orange paint with flecks of metallic so it reflects in the firelight. It's Burglado's Outpost. You see behind the counter of this space, and probably like a middle-aged halfling, this thin little tiny pipe, these little puffs of fragrant smoke rising out of it. The materials of this place, it is an outdoor bar, but you can see there's a wooden, almost like a wall that you can pull out and then put and secure during the night or whenever this place is closed.
Mhm.
It looks fairly worn and weathered. It is outside and exposed to the elements, but it's well cared for. The counter, for instance, it's smooth, but you can see places where the finish is worn away. It's been very lovingly sanded down so that it's still perfectly smooth, despite the fact that parts are finished, parts are unfinished. You see at the bar, there's only like 5 seats. It's a very small space. Aside from the halfling, the only other person that's there, you see Rhodesia, this like mane of tangled, flowing red hair. Her face is turned, so you kind of see a profile. You see like the kind of like bulbous bit of nose. You see the mole that has the hair coming out of it. Pretty stunningly ugly. But
But it's
one thing
comforting.
it is, and one thing that you notice actually about Ro, and she has, you see the buck teeth and everything. She's not carrying as much of the extra weight as she previously had been, and her hair, as wild and as like crazy as it is, has been trimmed down somewhat. She's no longer wearing merchant armor. Or merchant gear. She's wearing leather armor, kind of an earthen red, this dark brown cloak with a hood that mostly you would imagine would contain the hair should it be up, but currently down. You see a short sword down at her side and a shield leaning up on the bar next to her. You can see the Star of Sarentil. She's clearly working with the garrison. But you kind of see, as he's saying, salt, pepper, a little thyme, turns and looks at you. Oh, hello. Welcome to my outpost. Grab a seat. And you can see Rod kind of just turns and looks around, and then you can see he just stands up straight and turns. I know you. Looking at you.
I know you too. Rhodesia, right?
Yeah, that's my name, of course. But wait, Heinrich from Port Quinn.
That's right. What the
You're
hell
I
are you
remember
doing here?
you as a little boy on the docks. I came here after I don't know if you knew my husband Petus, but he passed sadly a couple months ago, and I found some work here, living just a different kind of life, I guess. Man, I remember your mom bringing you into the Sandy assortments when you were just this high.
Yeah.
And she comes and just gives you like a big hug.
Exactly.
She's
we'll do that.
significantly stronger than you.
Right.
Like you feel
I
your
have the
shoulder
average
blades pop
human's
a little
10
bit.
strength.
Do you have to bring out your
Please stop.
shields for protection?
What's
Yeah.
up?
Do you have to bring out your shields so you don't get hurt?
That's
yeah. Yeah, right. No,
she cracks your shoulders a little bit and sets you down. Oh my God, I never thought I would see anybody from Port Quinn this far south. This is absolutely amazing. You know what? Could we get some drinks for my friends? And you can see this halfling kind of looks over to you. Yes, of course. Ro, you of course know what there is, but for your friends, are you beer drinkers, wine drinkers? Are you
anything red wine, please? What you got?
You're just in luck. We have a lovely Stahlbush 67 for the wine drinkers here, if you would like. It's sort of by vision, you'll see kind of an Alicante Boucher, but it's actually a Pinotage and quite a good one.
Awesome. Pinotage IRL. Really actually kind of a fun one, but let's just skip over that and say, yeah, that sounds great. Because Heinrich doesn't know that.
This is, you can say that if you want. This is a very well detailed wine.
Let's try it. I'll let it talk to me, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I certainly do. It's 10 gold pieces for a bottle, or I could get you a glass for 3. Up to you.
Well, I'll point at Ro, and then I'll point at Shae. Like, bottle. You guys cool? You guys want one?
I could drink more than a bottle, but sure, that's a good place to start. And he nods, turns, he pulls out. It's like a dark brown
I guess
clay
Shae is
bottle.
just like, oops, okay.
It's a dark brown clay bottle with a similar kind of clay stopper. There's orange wax that seals it. But takes this little knife, cuts the wax, pops the cork out, just pours the wine. You can see it's this deep purple. If you smell it, it does have these kind of almost like a banana-y smell. Mm-hmm. Pinotage, like you said, is not actually I don't think a very good wine personally, but it is the official wine of West Africa. So it is, as you taste it,
it's done right.
Yeah, and as you taste, it is this plush, silky, complex. This is done right. Yeah. Plush as it enters your mouth, silky notes of cinder and black fruit, all served up on a platter of oak. It's wonderful. But nods to you. Will you be eating with us tonight, or?
No, I think wasn't expecting to come here. We had already eaten, unfortunately, but when I thought I heard a familiar voice, I had to stop in.
You can see Ro beams at this. We're old friends. We go back quite a ways, all the way to Port Quinn. I've told you where I'm from. He just kind of nods at this. Well, if you think that's what you would like, although I will say you are missing out on a lovely slice of venison that was caught just recently and paired with an inspired sauce of simmered blackberries, sugar, red wine vinegar, lemon zest, cloves, and some nutmeg.
Stop! You're tempting me. I'll be back tomorrow. We're not leaving here anytime soon.
Well, it will be different tomorrow, I'm sure, but it will be
I'll
equally
excited
good.
to see what it is.
So I'll leave you all to this, and if you need anything, just raise a hand. And he turns and goes over. You can see just tapping some more pipe leaf into his pipe.
Yeah.
Ro takes a sip of this wine. You know, Heinrich, I ain't really much of a wine drinker, but I do appreciate this. It's quite good. A little out of my typical spending range.
Well, hey, you didn't need to cover it just because I'm here. That's crazy, but super appreciated. What? You're fighting now here? When did that start?
Yeah, so I joined up with the garrison probably about a month ago. It feels like only yesterday. I do recall I saw you right before I left, I think.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been here for about 2 months.
How's it been going? I hear it's a little push and pull.
Yeah, so, when I first got here, it was pretty bad. They really needed the manpower, and so I found myself welcomed pretty openly. I don't know if you know this, but I do have a little bit of a skill with a blade if I need to. So, I've seen 2 real big attacks in my time here and a couple smaller ones, although it's been about 2 weeks.
And now, just because we haven't yet set foot here and have been admittedly far outside of the kingdom for a bit, what exactly is it that's coming through? What have you been fighting?
Well, let me counter you with the question there. How far have you been outside of the kingdom? I've always wanted to leave, but I've never really made it past Biz.
Well, yeah, see. Oh, geez. Morwen's here with us too, and Guntir as well.
Morwen's here.
But they retired for the night.
Wait.
No, you were.
One
You know what?
here.
Hell, you want to come back after this drink?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
Where are y'all staying?
We're staying at the and I would remember the name,
Wild
'cause I thought it was
Wild Leaf.
The Wild Leaf. Yeah, we're staying at the Wild Leaf of all places.
Okay, a bunch of fancy folk coming up in here and spending a bunch of money. All right, I'll absolutely come back and have a drink with you.
Yeah, let's finish this up in a cinematic cheersing back and forth. Unless Shae has any. Unless Shae, I don't want to cut you off from anything you'd want to do here.
Shae.
Okay.
Perfect.
We'll tell some jokes and now back.
To look for Ro and
On the way out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
On the way out, Ro just kind of turns to the barkeep and says, "Hey, you mind if I take a bottle of chicken kicker to go?" And he just reaches under the bar and pulls out. It's this bottle. It's clear. It's like a wine bottle. And you just see this elegant CK that kind of is protruding from the glass, like blown glass out. It's actually a beautiful
there's a
bottle.
little picture of a
Alvin Klein?
boot and a
I was
chicken.
gonna say
No boot, no chicken. But
it's underwear.
Ro takes it, and you guys head back to the Wild Leaf. While you guys are gone, Guntir, Morwen, is there anything that you want to do while you're waiting? Or
Oh, is there?
Not knowing that we've just accomplished your goal that I didn't know is what you guys were going to be doing.
So I think
Natural
first
20
things
is pretty
first,
hard.
we make our way to the king-size bedroom.
Mhm.
So you go upstairs, you open the door with the key, and as you do, there's it's bigger than, this is like a California king bed. This is huge.
Nice.
You can see, so this was originally at one point probably like a barn maybe. The 2 big doors that would be at the top of the barn make up the entire wall that is on the other side of the bed. And you would imagine if you wanted to, you could unlatch it and open it and just have open night sky in front of you.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a fairly nice room. It's a little bit worn here and there, but well kept. There's a couple of different little armchairs. There's a side table. There's an armoire.
Oh boy, we really lucked out. I'm gonna shut the and then walk over to the double doors.
Okay.
Be like, so you coming?
Yeah, hold on. And I'm just gonna like quickly make biscuits on the bed and make it all like mess it up so it's nesty, and then
Okay.
also fluff the pillows because I'm obnoxious.
Sure. So you take some time to
I
fluff
just
the
wanted to be
pillows.
ready, so I like unmake the bed.
Sure.
That's good thinking. Good thinking.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna try to. Is there a window?
No,
Gunta
there's
doesn't. Okay, Gunta's unlatching the double doors anyway.
Oh, they're heavy doors and they.
Oh, I'm just trying to unlatch them and like crack it open
Okay.
so that we can
Yeah,
like
give the-
sneak
the-
out and then shut it
Well,
again.
In
With
all
both hands, you have
fairness,
to push it a little bit.
I
Yeah.
don't think we have to sneak out because they're not. They left too, didn't they?
Yeah.
So like we could just walk outside, you know.
Yeah, but I just opened it.
He's like still opening it.
Okay, fine. We'll
How
sneak
many
out.
times are we gonna have a room in an inn that has a back door from our room?
Can we close it
anywhere.
from the outside? Can we
It
just
would
make
be-
sure we don't leave it open?
It would be kind of tough. You would need like a pole or something because you are dropping roughly 12 feet to the ground. So,
You know,
All right.
let's lock it up and take that.
Okay. Well, I've already done this, so I'm gonna try the door. And then I'll meet you at the front. How's that?
Okay.
All right.
Last
All
one's
right. Shut it behind me. I'm gonna start
Oh.
like sidling out to kind of lower myself.
Guntir gets out. You can see he has to hold this big door open, and he kind of puts one arm down. The door kind of hits him a little bit in the face, and he has to like. It's not terribly.
Hold it
graceful.
open for me. Help me
You gotta-
out.
Are you just dropping down?
No, I'm like, I'm like looking down, and then I'm gonna kind of sidle off, and then
Okay, make a
lower
dexterity saving
myself a
throw.
bit.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Come on, big rolls.
I'm gonna start getting my notes ready.
Oh, 16.
16. No problem. You lower yourself. Your legs go down. You actually hear somebody go, "Hey," and just kind of have to duck out of the way as they enter.
Ah,
But you, no
incoming.
problem. Drop down, kind of land. Your knees crack a little bit,
Oh.
but no problem. You look up. You see Morwen's hand just shut the door behind you.
All right, I'll meet you out front.
All right. I
Morwen, you just take the stairs like a normal person. Good job. You guys find yourselves outside of the Wildleaf. You can see the bartender kind of wave as you go out.
All right. So, you want to go? What do you want to do? You want to go find Petus's wife, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Well,
I think they said the garrison people.
yeah. Let's go check that place out. That
All right.
seems like a good place to start.
Where
I'm
is
sure there's gonna be some stuff along the way. I got some shopping to do, since all
What
my
time
stuff
is
was
it?
taken.
our shops?
Probably at this point, it's like 8 o'clock or so. A lot of shops would be closed, yeah. Not all, but a lot.
All right.
So no one's man in the stores potentially.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
You're
we're
in the
gonna go
military. You look around. It's mostly soldiers passing you. So you could certainly steal some stuff here if you want.
Nice. All right. Well,
Works in The Witcher.
which way
Walking
towards the garrison?
So the garrison is the name of the military force occupying 1,000 gates. So everywhere would be the answer to that. Are you looking more for like a place where they're working out of?
Yeah, like
Yeah, I thought there was more of like
we
a
heard of the
central-
quartermasters. We
Yeah, there's
heard
a
of-
central place. The quartermastery is like a general store.
Oh, right. Okay.
But just taking some time and walking around, you find that like most of these larger castles and keeps seem to serve as like small bases of
Headquarters.
operations for different groups. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we should check out wherever. What's Shima the bear woman?
Who?
The bear, the woman who was a bear.
Oh,
Shima.
okay.
She's
yeah,
in charge of the place that Penis's wife is from. Or is living in.
Okay, yeah. I mean that.
I don't know.
that'd be cool to
Humans have
see.
weird conventions. Let's just go.
Okay.
Okay. You guys make your way looking around for this person who the only real reference you have is that they are a bear of a woman. So go ahead and make a perception check, the two of you.
Fine. The dress wearing.
Oh, that won't stop Guntir.
It will stop me.
Did you roll, Gunter?
I believe with my modifiers, that's a 27.
Not bad. Morwen?
11.
Okay. Gunter, you look around, your old eyes focusing, both kind of wandering off and then snapping to look at one thing for the first time in maybe a couple days. You
woman.
gaze around, you see a lot of stuff. You don't see this bear woman because you instantly kind of freeze up. You feel this sense of dread sink in. You see people kind of parting out of the way, And over top of them, because this individual is probably close to 7 feet tall, you see a blue scale dragonborn, who you would know as Storm Priest Starkarks. He is a cleric of the Priesthood of Thunder.
Is there anywhere to hide?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of people here.
Oh,
There's
you're
all
not asking me.
Oh.
No, he's not asking me. Sorry.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Comically squat behind a too small barrel.
This is gonna be funny. Let me just double check what my modifier for stealth is. Yeah, it's 0, and I'm at disadvantage. So actually,
Oh yeah, plate mail armor.
oh, even better. It was a 4, but
Good.
now it's a 2.
Okay. Morwen, you watch as Guntir, he's like scanning around, really intent, and then you see his eyes shoot, he just goes, oh, and then just ducks right in front of you. He's just right in front of you, ducking. People kind of look at him oddly as they walk by.
Just like, keep walking.
So Guntir now squatting down, even shorter than his normal 5 feet.
All right. I mean, so he's clearly trying to hide. So I'm kind of just gonna open up my coat a little bit and just be like,
Okay, so
trying to
being
shield.
very
like
conspicuous.
y'all need watches kind of situation.
Okay. The two of you get a lot of strange looks, and I would say probably because of this kind of pairing. One of these soldiers that's passing by kind of looks at you and stops and just says, hold on just a second. You, dwarf, what are you doing down there? And he just kind of leans over you.
Oh, I just dropped something. I'm gonna pretend to pick something up and
Make
then
a sleight
stand back
of
up.
hand check.
See, I'm good at those. Relatively good, I guess. Still
Yeah.
not. Yeah. Ooh, okay. That's 22. Oh, also at advantage, so 22. Yeah.
His eyes narrow at you, kind of go back up to you, Morwen. What about you? Haven't seen you around here before.
Oh, she's my protege.
Pro to what?
As apprentice.
Make a deception check at advantage because you've already kind of tricked him once.
I also I have
I'm just standing there
advantage for
smiling.
deception naturally because I am going to. That's a 26.
Okay. All right. Well, you and your proteg just stay out of trouble.
Oh, we always do.
Just keeps walking.
Sucker.
So I'm just gonna like. So what's going on? Like looking down behind me.
Just don't look at. Just turn around.
Okay.
Turn
Do I
around.
see this figure? I mean, I must if it's that big, right? Oh, okay.
You would. You look, turning back, you don't see them anymore. They're no longer there. And Guntir, as you look to like show Morwen,
Did he see? Whew.
Ew.
Is he really gone? I'm like,
with your passive perception of 20, you get the sense, looking around, you scan the crowd. He's a 7-foot tall dragonborn, would be pretty easy to see, and the Priesthood of Thunder, not real big on stealth. So no, you would imagine he's pretty good.
okay. All right, let's
So,
go.
You're gonna fill me in though? What's
Just the losers from my past. Don't want to have to run into them.
hiding from losers?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, sure.
Yeah.
Lauren's
Where's-
convinced. Yeah, losers. Who needs them?
No one needs them.
Yeah, no one. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's go find our winners from the past.
Yeah. Well,
So-
what's a Rhodesia?
Seen any people that really match the description that you've been given? You've also met a shield before, actually. You've met. You would think back to Jaskar Husk from Biss, actually, and you remember that he carried this very symbolic.
Is that Hot
shield.
Dad?
Yeah, I have a sword.
So you.
Well, there was two. There's also the one that was on the ship with us. There was two.
Tank
guys.
was
Okay.
real hot dad.
Yeah.
And then anyways, you would now I lost my train of thought, definitely. It's all good. So what are you guys doing? Because I'm totally off the rails now.
So we're looking for Ro in
Okay.
a place that is not where Ro would have been, because we know that Ro is with
So you
Heinrich.
can
So
spend
I
some
think-
time looking for Ro.
Yeah, you were saying we're looking for a like shield.
Yeah. So you would remember that there was this like very symbolic shield, ornate glowing writing that told the deeds of that shield of Sarentil. So this would be a very easy person to spot, you would imagine. You don't see anything like that.
Yeah, she's probably in one of those fancy keeps. Leader of the garrison.
Are we also
Maybe.
are we walking by? Because
You know
I'm
what?
sure we're just walking on a street first of all,
I
right?
bet if we find
Unless you guys
Ro,
want to be swinging through the trees, yeah, I would imagine.
So we're walking by probably like shops, even if
Yeah.
they're closed or whatever. But like
Yeah.
we're walking by All right, I'm window shopping too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Guntir's looking for. He's looking.
So point of note, if you guys are heading towards that main keep initially, the big one in the center,
yeah,
you are going to pass, let me find his store here, shops. You guys are going to pass the place that was mentioned earlier, Olmsworthy's Essentials. And it is this small kind of shop. You can see through the simple kind of glass front of the door, this older human, and he's just kind of glare. It is this like 1,000-yard stare. He looks like he's like almost on like autopilot right now. He's just kind of slowly chewing behind a desk. You can see there's like a flask behind him. There's a bunch of little knickknacks and doodads. You'd also see this sort of big vertical wooden-looking house, and inside it looks like it's covered in these weird-looking animals. And you recognize it's called Trophies by Grilda, and it is a taxidermist shop. And actually,
that
Gunter,
gives me I don't like that.
Yeah, there is this kind of like a dwarven woman, bit of a chin strap going on. It's kind of running that place. Interesting to you, maybe, Gunter, there's a stables nearby, although it doesn't seem as if it's open at the moment. But you do see a number of horses, a pony, kind of milling about in this kind of enclosed space. You would see a used bookstore called Page Turners, which is currently open.
oh, that's good.
That sucks.
Yeah, let's. You want to check out Oldsworthy's?
Sure.
You know,
Okay.
and maybe Rhodesia's in there.
Okay.
Might as well check everywhere, right? Except
Yeah.
for that bookstore.
Yeah.
It's probably not there. Heinrich's part.
It's only Heinrich stuff in there. You walk into the shop, you open the door, it opens very quietly. You see the stare doesn't really change. The eyes kind of look up at you, still kind of chewing on something. Gonna do for you.
We're just looking. You got anything interesting? Are you Oldsworthy?
Yeah, I'm Olmsworthy.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we the lady at the Wild Leaf.
thing?
Wild Leaf.
Oh.
That's the place, right? Yeah, we're
Been
Wild
around
Leaf.
here.
Yeah, she sent us here.
All right, well, what are you looking to buy?
Now, what do you got?
I got all kinds of shit that can make your day a little bit better. You're clearly not soldiers, so I don't really know what you do, but
Oh, we do a lot.
I like
of
fun things. Do you have
want
any
fun things?
Yeah, what's your fun
Most
things?
of it's pretty useful. I have a music box if you're interested in that kind of thing. I've got some, like I said, kind of looks at each of you. I got a set of playing cards, which you might like. Kind of easy to predict which cards are going to come up. I've got a flask I've got a couple of them actually. And he reaches down under the counter and pulls out this, it's like a wooden set of like straight pegs, and there's flasks of different designs hanging off of them. He sets it down on the counter, clank, 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 they kind of all hit together. Each of these is enchanted. So if you want, we got beer, we got red wine, and we got gin, but it will produce 10 servings each day and it won't run out. So
Oh my gosh, how much for those?
it's going to be 150 gold pieces, and I know that's a lot up front, but it's
100 for one.
150 gold pieces for one flask. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not the whole box.
No.
All right. Well, what else do you have?
Well, I'm sure you eat food on the road, and typically road food isn't very good. Rations that you get in the garrison are shit. So I invented this, and he pulls out a little jar. It's a jar of spice. It's probably about 100 servings in here. But he opens it up. You see, it's sriracha. It's like a red paste with chunks of garlic in it. Um, make road food better. I have a watertight box. It's called a marsh-proof box. Any of you guys know what a marsh-proof box is?
No.
I imagine that is marsh-proof.
Morwen.
Oh, I do know.
The way that he
Okay.
said marsh-proof box and kind of twists that inflection on the end, this is Thieves' Camp. He's offering to sell you pipe leaf.
Oh, we want that.
I would probably know that, right?
Do you
my-
currently speak Thieves' Camp?
I know a little, but I don't have it. Like
Roll a d20.
actually, static character sheet wise, I don't have it, but
Sure. Roll a d20.
historically, I've known bits and pieces. That's a 13.
13. You're not picking up on it.
Yeah, we'll have some of that.
All right. Well,
How much is a marsh-proof box?
it's 10 gold pieces. It's just a box. Some of them do come with some plant matter just kind of inside. It's part of the creation process. But
Yeah, but don't you want to keep
How
the
much?
plant matter out if it's a marsh-proof box?
Guntir, we want the plant matter if it happens to be in this box.
All right, well, fine. We'll take your plant box.
No
you just
plant
want one.
later.
It's 10 gold pieces a box.
I also. Hey, you got any pipes? I lost my pipe. I gotta get some more pipe leaf and.
Oh my god.
I'm just
You're an
gonna.
actual
Is there anyone
actor.
in the store?
No, it's actually just the two of you. It's pretty late.
All right, so I'm just going to like look at the store owner or whatever and just be like, open the box to Guntir discreetly, being like,
So
I'm
as the
sorry.
box opens,
Oh.
suddenly the aroma of pipe leaf floods in, and you realize this is certainly water and airtight, so good for traveling and storing things in a marsh. Also good for hiding pot. Probably, and you remember this was made legal in the kingdom about 2 years ago. This guy probably has lived his entire life with it being illegal. So this is like just an old business practice that has kind of clung on.
Charming.
That's convenient. Do all the marsh-proof boxes come with pipe leaf?
You're an actual fucking idiot, huh? Yeah, that's you're not buying the box. You're buying what's inside.
Oh,
It's a
but
nice
we're
box.
buying the box too, right?
You get the. Oh my god. I'm actually getting a headache. This is why I stopped working in the garrison.
He'll take one more. All right,
Yeah, let's get a
Give me
couple.
10.
Okay. 2 of them, it's going to be 20 gold pieces. And he takes
Well,
them out.
I give him 10 for mine.
Okay.
Well, hold on, because I want to see what else you got. Don't worry, I'm good for it.
I mean, what are you looking for? I told you
Well,
about the
I wanna-
cards. I told you about the
I know.
flasks.
You know what? I'm interested in the
Burn away
cards.
candles. They'll keep
Where's
the
your-
bugs in the
where's your-
marsh away.
Where's your real good stuff? You know, what's the stuff you keep in the back?
I don't keep any shit in the back. This is what I got. And sometimes
It's
I'll
like
make new
his-
stuff. But
Metaphorically, what's the stuff you keep in the back? You know?
He's just like growing the.
he
in the
turns
back.
back towards this just blank wooden wall. You can see there's a shelf that is completely bare, save a single candle burning on it. I got a candle.
These playing cards. Can I check them out?
Yeah, so you could see a slight color come to his cheek. They're not the most appropriate cards. I want you to just be clear about this. This is all stuff for soldiers. So these are gentlemen, gentlewoman, or gentle them's playing cards. Is there a preference you have? Race, gender?
I'm a tabaxi. What are you asking? I'm quite gentle. Unless, you know.
He pulls out a
push
bag
comes
and
to
then
shove.
pulls
They're
out
porno cards.
I don't know what a porno
Dear
is. Yeah.
sir, that is not what I had in mind.
What other playing
Good day. Good day.
cards?
It is a good day. So wait, you got the pipe for the pipe leaf? Are you just?
No, I don't.
How do you sell pipe if you don't have any pipes?
Well, we'll look
I
somewhere else.
literally just sold you 2 boxes of it, so that answers your
That's
question.
what I'm saying. How do you sell pipe leaf, but you don't sell the pipes for the pipe leaf? It's called pipe leaf.
So we're closing now.
Okay,
Oh, you
thank
got-
you.
Hang on, I want to. All right. So, what do you say? You
Getting
got
up from the
whiskey.
counter.
You got beer, wine. Which one do you want more?
I mean, to be honest, I already have plenty of booze.
Yeah, but you don't have plenty of booze forever.
We have red wine. We have beer. And we have gin. What do you want?
I'm more of a whiskey lady.
Okay.
Got the beer.
Or rum.
Right.
Rum's pirates.
Takes one out. You can see it's almost like a horn, although it's actually made out of metal, so it's not like a real horn. It has a little cap on it. You can see there's like a little peg on the bottom, so it will stand. But he gives it to you, Guntir. 175 gold pieces.
That was 150 before.
Yep.
So is this for the pipe leaf and for the? Do I get a discount?
You already paid for the pipe leaf, so no.
Also
This is-
combined, it's still more expensive. The pipe leaf is only 10.
Do you
All
want?
right. We'll think about it. It'll be here tomorrow. Well, thank you for your time.
I'm debating it. You're welcome.
All right. Push it.
I was
Shuts the
gonna
door
get it.
behind you. So you guys can each, after that exchange, add one box. It's 5 uses of pipe leaf, which, if you do not remember, is, hang on 1 second here. Each one will grant you advantage on wisdom, but disadvantage on dexterity for 1 hour.
Not like I ever need dexterity anyway.
I know, right? For nerds, it's dexterity. You just feign death yourself when you fall off great heights.
It's fine. I don't need any of that.
It's not
Dex.
Guntir the Impaler, it's Guntir the Impaled.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but even disadvantage on dex, I think I'd still be pretty okay compared to Guntir.
Probably.
The lowest that you can roll is only like 4 numbers higher or lower than the highest I think that Guntir could roll. So yeah. So you guys doing anything else?
No sign of Roe anywhere, right?
Zero.
No sign of Bear Woman.
You do not see Bear Woman.
But you
Is
said,
there?
there's a bunch of soldiers just like walking around?
Yeah.
Whole
All right,
city.
I'm just going to go up to one and be like, good evening.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How
Oh,
you
hey there.
doing?
I'm doing okay. It's
What you doing?
Can I help you with something or?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking for Shiva
Rhodesia.
Bear Woman.
Rhodesia.
Jesus Christ. I thought more was asking.
Which one are you looking for?
Rhodesia.
I don't know anybody named Rhodesia.
Bro.
How about Shiva Bear
I
Woman?
don't know anybody named Ro. Sheba Bear Woman, you said?
Shiva Bear Woman. She's the leader of the garrison.
Oh. Shema Bear Woman.
That's so
Urashima
insulting.
Boltov. Was the Shield Boltov.
Yeah.
Great
sure.
hero of the Grey Fang. Yeah, okay. Yes,
Sure.
she's in the Black Keep. If you want to go, feel free, but you're not going to see her.
Well, you won't be so sure about that. Which way is it?
It's just the way that I'm coming from. Just keep heading that way, and then about a mile in, go left. That's the large Black Keep.
Did you
Okay.
say you did know someone named Ro?
No, that was sarcasm, but you know, you picked up on it real well.
All right. Well, thanks for something.
Nothing.
A little bit of something.
Good
All right, and he
night.
just keeps going.
All right. So, should we go check out this Black Keep?
What time is it? We've only probably been out for like 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, you're getting close to like 8:45.
Yeah, okay, we got time.
Yeah.
You guys start walking. You continue to walk actually in the direction that this person pointed you. Heinrich, Shae,
Mhm.
you and Rhodesia return to the Wildleaf. The fire outside is starting to die down a little bit, and you could see the proprietor kind of just leaning there, looking a little bored, getting ready to kind of close up.
Mhm.
Rhodesia looks around. All right, where is my friend?
Well, they're staying in the other room. I'm gonna just like side up to the bar. What was the room that our other 2 friends were in? I didn't even ask the number. Sorry.
She tells you which rooms they're in and,
Okay.
and gives you some rough directions.
Thanks. Yeah, they should be in this one. We got the other room since it's kind of a small place. But yeah, let's go on up and they should be in there, I think. Maybe. Maybe not.
We did
Well,
leave them
whatever.
unsupervised.
And
Yeah.
she takes off. You can see she waves to the person as she enters. Hi to you, and just continues to go. But you
Tia,
all filter
okay.
in. You go up. The
And,
room seems
knock on
locked.
the door.
Okay. There is no answer.
That's unfortunately very quiet for these.
We actually
people.
have a recording that's just like snoring whenever they're not.
You left the sending stone in there, and
Yeah,
it just
we
like
left the one.
snoring through it on the other end as you're walking around.
Got your true steals big night out.
Or
Yeah.
it's just us like talking shit, being like, "Oh, Heinrich's looking again. He's staring."
Actually, point in fact, Morwen, you still have the squawk box, so you could have done that.
I know. Yeah. I was thinking that I.
Wait,
yeah.
this is technically wow.
No, I didn't do it, but I
I
could
know.
have technically.
That's
done
funny.
Next
All right.
time. Next time.
it. Noted.
Well, they don't look to be here, but this is where we're staying. So I don't know if you had any immediate plans after. What was the name of that nice place we were at? 'Cause I definitely want to go back there.
To the outpost,
Yeah, what's something outpost? Something.
Bergalato. Is his name.
Bergalato. Got it.
Bergalato. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, did you have any plans, or you could wait? We could see if they turn up.
Well, I work a shift tomorrow, but it doesn't start till noon, so I don't have any real pressing need to go to bed early. And I want to see Morwen. I want to know how Sandy Assortments is doing.
Yeah. Let's go get a beer at the bar before she closes.
All right then. I mean, I think we still got a good hour, but I ain't never gonna say no to no beer.
I'll get you back for the bottle of wine.
Sounds like a plan, man. Heinrich, I only got to meet you once. I'm kind of sad I didn't really get to spend more time with you.
Well, as an adult, you mean, at least, yes.
Oh, how's the family? Speaking of which.
That's what I was actually hoping to talk to you about after we all got back together. But while we wait, it's good enough for me.
Okay.
And I'll just like order. Shae, did you want one?
Oh, I'm good. I've had plenty today.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shae, this is like a fair amount of alcohol for you. And Shae, considering your the physicality of you, a little bit of alcohol goes a very long way.
I don't think I finished the entire first beer. I probably pushed it
Yeah.
halfway over done to Guntir.
Sure.
And probably
Yeah,
only had like a
assuming-
very small glass.
And with your speed and form, probably high metabolism, probably it shoots through you just as fast as you can like run up walls and shit. I'm guessing.
Shoots 3.
Order these beers. In total, that's going to cost you another, call it a gold piece round down.
Okay.
I feel like this is one of the more expensive areas we've ever been.
Well, this is the fancy
it's
place,
pretty
so
good.
says Row. All right, so
Um,
noted down that. Yeah.
So the economy in Alberon does fluctuate right now. The reason the reason that things are more expensive here is because a lot of trade comes through here and soldiers don't have a lot of stuff to spend their money on. So it's artificially kind of inflated because there's nothing else to
It
spend.
can't.
It's the factory.
Yeah.
It's like the factory store kind of economy.
Drink typically much more expensive the further you get away from Port Quinn and Sarandon, the kind of lush sort of agricultural center of Dominion. So
I want to turn to Row and level with her for a sec. So kind of like, all right, Row, a little bit of serious business. I know this has been really, really wonderful catching up, seeing a familiar face in a strange place, at least for us.
absolutely.
Do you remember my mother?
Shade, right? A little bit. Never. You came in every
Yeah.
now and then, brought you along.
Ashen hair and skin, kind of hard to miss. Kind of looks grayscale in any setting. Kind of.
I mean, a tiefling and Port Quinn, pretty uncommon.
Exactly. Have you seen her come through here since you've been here?
You know, I haven't, but come to think of it, aside from the tieflings that work the forge, there was mention of one working at the Sober Scholar, I think it was. Don't make it down there that much myself, but it's not really
Working at the
soldier
Sober
type.
Scholar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Sorry,
think,
you were gonna say it's not really for what types?
not really for soldier types. So
Gotcha.
I haven't really made it much there myself. It's a little bit more populated by the mercenaries. we don't always get along so well.
Well,
But
sure, yeah, mercenaries and organized guard. I get it.
if I remember correctly, I think Seer got her a job there maybe like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Jasir? Yasir?
Seer, weird old woman. She dabbles in herbology and that kind of thing. Runs a potion shop, or used to. It got smashed in that last attack.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, at least. It's kind of,
Well,
admittedly, the reason why I'm here.
I got to level with you then. In the last real big attack, that's sort of the epicenter of it. Didn't really do so well. Didn't fare quite well. The
Right.
Church of Six came by not long after, and they've sort of sectioned it off. We're not even allowed to go there. And if the garrison isn't able to, that's pretty big business.
Right.
They send a harbinger, and the harbinger outranks even the shield. So that's
Yeah.
pretty spooky.
I've met that guy before. Actually, in Port Quinn after you'd left, to be honest. He was there.
Harbinger in Port Quinn?
Am I wrong in saying that dude,
He was there.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it was a little alarming. You remember Helm's Temple in the town center?
Oh, yeah. Tweel Outfoot used to run that place.
Yeah, that's, well, how long are you planning on staying here? You don't plan on going back there, so maybe you don't need to worry about this, right?
Port Quinn, a lot of painful memories for me there, Heinrich. I
Yeah.
wasn't really looking to go back.
Yeah. Things have changed there, but hey, long story short, he came to help out with a little bit of something going on in the church there. A little bit of negative forces at play, if you will.
So Heinrich, and she kind of leans in, I don't know how much you know about the Church of Six, but especially the Harbingers, I'd be real careful around them.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I met him, and it was just talking. It was pretty unnerving, but it is really important to me to find my mother. And if they're here because of something that happened in the area that my mother was last reported to be, I'm gonna have to probably go check that out.
Okay.
You understand?
No, I absolutely understand. I mean, well, if I still had any family, I'd do anything for them.
About that
Well, there
last
seems like a lot. Oh, sorry.
about that last attack, Ro, you said it was big. What happened?
Oh, well, I mean, when I first got here, there was pretty regular attacks. These creatures, I've actually killed 2 of them myself, don't mean to brag, but they come out of the swamp, used to be human maybe, but all kind of gross looking, covered in swamp, a lot of moss and all kinds of things just kind of falling out of them. We just call them swamp walkers, but they were a pretty regular fixture. And then there was this other attack. This was something different. Right around actually the herbalist place was where the most damage was. The whole section of the city just kind of shattered and burned, which was quite odd. I mostly work kind of near the Sky Gate, and that little distance away, but I heard from some people that it smelled pretty terrible there. If I remember correctly, actually, there was a rumor of some kind of creature, but people talk about all kinds of things. And I mean, in the Gate of March, there's all kinds of weird, twisted abominations. So easily could have been true. But her tail wings. Does that mean anything to you?
What size creature?
Well, if you believe the people that said this, and I heard this from a mercenary. I don't trust mercenaries myself. Towering, building size, if you could believe it. But I feel like we would have seen something.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
You may
chickens in the
still.
background.
Yeah.
We may
Yeah, there's a
still
lot of
get.
things going on in this world right now, not just here, that are a little inexplicable, let's say.
The chickens?
Little
Just
odd.
chickens all over.
Oh, those are
winged
just
winged
nice
beasts
chickens.
all around.
There have been all kinds of strange things happening here and there. Beyond just that attack, the 7th banner of Sarentil is supposed to be on their way in about another month. So we're going to have another 1,000+ people here, which I don't understand how we're supposed to deal with. And because of everything that's happened recently, the cost of travel outside of here, if you go down to Pim's Landing, it's tripled easily. Everybody's trying to get out of here and head to Everest, mostly since Darkpool went dark. I mean, you probably noticed already, but food's gotten pretty pricey because meat's spoiling extra quick.
That's right.
Yeah, you're telling me.
What's like the ultimate
Heinrich.
goal? Are you guys just holding the wall and that's it, or someone pushing to see if they can find the source and stop it?
I think folks mostly have an idea what the source is, but there is no stopping it. This is the bastion of humanity, so to speak. This is where we hold the line between dark and light.
Forever. Without
On-
trying to stop the dark coming on? That's what I'm just wondering.
You
You're
haven't
just holding
seen
the
it
line.
yet, so you'll understand if you stick around long enough. I mean, there's no
Suppose so.
pushing back. We do so every now and then. I haven't done it personally myself. I've only been here for about 2 weeks. But during the hotter months, they do something called burn backs, where they go out and they try to burn some of the vegetation to push it away from the wall, so it's easier to see things coming in. The stuff grows alarmingly fast. I mean, you'll see a sapling one day that'll be a twisted mangrove a week later. It's a weird place, and the insects there. Ugh, I hear they can be as big as rats, and they can suck the blood straight out of you.
And this is within the marsh.
Within the gated marsh, yeah. I mean, the gated marsh is a complex ecosystem, and people do travel through it. There were even a group of halflings that lived out there, if you believe it. I personally have never seen them. Spooky bunch, apparently. But there are people who live there, apparently. There are parts of it that are haunted, the ghost walk. Actually, let me double check the Wraith Walk. It's suspended up in the trees, and so it's a little bit safer, kind of closer to the ocean. But there are spirits that will attack you almost constantly throughout. They're not terribly strong, but they wear you down after a while. And you can eventually make your way to the Forlorn Sanctum. It's like the series of runes, and there's that whole ecosystem. And then if you go kind of further west, you get to the Dreadfen, and you can go that way. People take that way actually pretty frequently. We got good word. Smugglers use that trail to get to Mudtown and points beyond. That's a pretty dangerous spot. There's carnivorous trees, sink sand, acid geysers, you name it. The insects themselves will just descend on you, and they're something fierce.
Sounds like quite the honorable work keeping all that at bay. Honestly, you know what? That's great that you found this sort of calling. I guess if it suits you.
I don't know how much you know about the Sandy Assortments, but there was a period of time where it wasn't quite on the up and up, and I think I kind of lost my way for a little bit. It feels good to be helping people, like really helping people.
That I agree with. That I know. It's actually what we've been trying to do. Trying. Sort of. Anyways, I wonder where Morwen and Guntir are. It's taken them quite a bit to get back.
You look up, Scrubs cut away, and
Yeah.
Guntir and Morwen, the two of you now walking through the streets, getting closer to like 9:30. You do come across the Black Keep, easy to see 4 square kind of turrets rising up out of a central square structure, maybe 5-6 stories tall. You see atop of it 3 massive ballista. You can see even in the starlight gleaming off the tips of these arrows, which each bolt probably about 7-8 feet long. But kind of aim to go over the large wall and then into the swamp.
Oh man, I really wanna shoot one of those.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
It is heavily manned. You can see people walking along the walls, the turrets. You can see there is this kind of large gateway, paler stone that goes in bricks to an arch that has this portcullis that would go down. It is currently up. There are a lot of soldiers there. You don't see civilians in this part of the city necessarily.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to use our newfound clout to get an audience with this Shima Boska.
What do you mean?
The bear woman.
Yeah, but what about it?
We gotta, everyone keeps saying, oh, we're not... But I think they're underestimating.
You keep getting cut off at the end of your sentences also.
Yeah, but I'm getting the gist, though.
I think, people think that we're not going to be able to get there, but I think, we're pretty well known. Maybe not
Yeah.
here yet, but
No, I agree, but maybe I mean, it's kind of late. Like maybe we just go in there tomorrow. Like maybe they're just saying that because she's going to bed. You know, bears hibernate for a really long time. She might not be awake.
yeah, I guess you don't. They say stuff about not poking a sleeping bear.
I'm certainly not trying to. Not as a first impression. I would.
No, that's true. I don't want to make a bad first expression.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just come in the morning when she's like hopefully awake.
All right.
They hibernate during the winter though, don't they?
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's kind of warm down here. It's
I don't know if I've explained this. I definitely have, but I don't know if I've explained it
it's
recently.
like middle of winter.
It is, but Alberon is kind of unique in that it's in a binary star system. There are two stars. And because of the way that they rotate, one is far away and it's almost this like ghostly image, only rarely in the sky. It's called the Harvest Star, and it actually only really is clear in the sky once every 300 years or so. But because of that, the north that Shae is from is really the only kind of polar cap. There isn't really any other severe cold places, but maybe there's a few in Mythelstream for arcanic reasons. But you would know that it's kind of mild in most parts of Alberon.
Okay. I mean, so in the morning though, maybe we'll just wait for someone else to poke her, so then like we look better. You know?
Yeah, and then we can ask her about where she is.
Wait, sorry, you cut out. I'm assuming
Rhodesia.
you said Ro.
Okay,
Okay,
Rhodesia. Yeah, I mean that's where she is, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, well, maybe.
I'm hoping that the leader of the garrison knows where the members of the garrison are.
I mean,
That's
one would
bad
hope.
leadership otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe. Yeah, we'll come in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know your underlings.
Yeah, and then maybe she'll let us shoot one of these.
Yeah, we'll ask her.
Fun. Yeah.
So
Maybe, I don't hope, but maybe something will come that causes us to need to use them.
Or if we need to make an escape, we can just hold on to those arrows and get shot into the sky. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
it's probably about as good as the flying thing that we almost died.
people are like passing you in the street. You guys are like staying in the middle, just talking to each other.
Well, noted. All right, let's go
All
back.
right.
And
Oh,
after
this
this
is good.
really important bit of narrative, you walk back.
Now we walk back just completely silent. We've said everything we need to say.
I'm really excited to try out this.
This what? You cut out perfectly.
I'm really excited to try out this king bed.
Oh, the king bed. Okay.
You guys return to the Wild Leaf at around 9:45 at night. All of you reconverge at the Wild Leaf. Heinrich, Shae, the two of you, if you want, are offered a little bit of this chicken kicker, which is, let me just pull it up because I have notes on all the drinks in this world. Chicken kicker, are you guys gonna, it's offered to you, it's gin.
I'll swig it.
Okay. It's
a port city. I'm from a port city. I love gin. Are you kidding me? That's
there you
great.
go. So loads of citrus and juniper, very traditional kind of gin. It's so juniper forward that the back of your neck tingles a little bit, and then as it finishes, there are these hints of lemon peel. But it's a very refreshing gin. It is very similar to Beefeater.
Okay, so London Dry.
Yes, that's the chicken kicker.
Okay.
But you have a little bit of that, and suddenly, after a long time, Morwen and Guntir reemerge.
I'll nudge Ro and just kind of like point.
Ro has had a lot more gin than you have, and so she just kind of like she wobbles a little bit as she turns in her seat. Morwen, you see these eyes go wide, framed by the red hair, which has gotten steadily more tousled throughout the night. But you could see suddenly she drops her glass, shatters on the ground. She scoots the seat out, it topples over. Morwen! And she just runs over to you.
I'm also doing the same, and I don't know if we're taking a big tumble, but I'm going full force.
You collide. It's a swirl of just hair and fur and the red coat. But she cracks your shoulder blades, your spine. She steps you down.
I die.
Oh my
No, I'm
God.
just kidding.
I cannot believe that you're here. I ran into Heinrich and you told me you were here, and I was so excited. You helped me out so much, and thank you very much. How's the store doing?
That's a great question, bro. It's a great question.
Have you not been back, or you just kind of shut it while you're gone? Or?
We've got a lot of catching up to do.
She sold it to a child.
I'm sorry. It sounded kind of like the dwarf said he sold it to a child, which couldn't be right because you wouldn't do that to a great
No,
gift.
actually, she didn't sell it. She gave it away for free.
Her eyes narrow, and she kind of looks over to you again, Morwen.
Oh, good reunion.
I'm a little bit confused because I remember giving you the store in like a very emotional moment. So maybe I just wasn't clear about this kind of being like a really important part, not only of my personal life, but my memory of my dead husband. What's going on with the store?
Yeah, it's not there anymore, I'm pretty sure, but I'll explain why.
She takes a deep breath and begins to drink. And because it is 10:30, it's a good place to kind of segue. We're going to take a quick break. So it was 10:35. Thank you guys so much for whoever's hung out and it's been around. Talon, I saw that you re-upped your subscription, so thank you so much for that. It really helps, especially with all this cool stuff that we have coming in the wings in probably a couple months. Some really cool stuff, which I'm like so excited about. But this is where we're going to take our break. So it is 10:35. We will be back at 10:45. We'll see you then. welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. We hope you had a good break. We did. We are going to just come right back into our game, but I wanted to say thank you to Talon, who said the website looks good, because it's a lot of work. And, if you haven't already, alberonrpg.com, a lot of cool stuff on the kind of lore setting. I can't remember what it's called anymore because I've changed it so many times. But you can see a whole bunch of lore information now, 40 pages of it. 40 plus pages of it currently up. It's in PDF form. It has some of the art that's been done by the amazingly talented Sophie Bischoff, by Erica Vilova, a couple of the artists that we've worked with over the period of time. And it's super cool. And if you think that you can do better art than the art that's in there, send us an email at work@alberonrpg.com, and we can maybe work something out. But where we last left off, you guys were talking to Rhodesia about how you had sold the last, or given away really, the last remaining memory and piece of Rhodesia's heart that remains in Port Quip.
I mean, why not her house?
I mean,
It was like built
she
into
did.
it.
You
Right?
you still have the keys to her house. You
Yeah,
own
no, we
that
do.
too.
Yeah, that one I kept.
So
But anywho's it.
you see Rhodesia kind of looking at you as you and Guntir explain. And then Guntir just says, actually, she gave it away for free. Rhodesia narrows her eyes at you. What do you mean gave it away for free, and what do you mean to a child?
Well, you see, we had to leave. We had a very important job, and I couldn't stay and maintain the place anymore. So, you remember the fish? I was really worried about the fish and wanted to make sure that they were still being fed. So this little
She
girl,
was worried about the fish.
this little girl, Ezra, offered to take care of the fish while I was gone.
I'm sorry, a little girl? You put a little girl in charge of my store?
In fairness,
In charge of the fish.
you put
So you closed
Morwen
the
in
store,
charge.
though, at least. So it's not like open, and there's not like, those special friends in the basement coming to visit a small child.
Well,
That-
incidentally, no, because then the little girl changed the shop's name and moved it to Nocturne.
I'm sorry. You said the little girl was there to make fish.
Bartender, you got another beer?
From the other side. Oh yeah, just a minute. And she goes and kind of gets me in the room.
Make that two. I'm feeling like maybe that doesn't sound too
Pops
good.
2 more experience, 4 in total. Places them in front of you guys.
I'm gonna go. I'm walking over to the bar now.
What do you
Oh,
So, this little girl who you put in charge of the fish
Yep,
sold the store,
I think so.
changed its name,
Mhm.
and moved to the walled city of Nocturne, city of lies, city of whispers.
Yeah, Morwen's miscellaneous.
When you say little girl, are you saying like little for him? She points to the old Guntir kind of like waddling his way to the
no,
bar.
little like a child.
You walk over to the bar, you're not there.
I thought it was-
Or do you mean little for like me? Like what are we talking about? Like we're talking like in her 20s, right? Like
I don't know. I mean, older than me, but I'm 5, so.
I'm sorry, you're 5?
Well, it's debatable, but that's what I'm going by these days.
Okay. You know what? I don't know a whole lot about tabaxi, so that could be true, I guess. That's a pretty quick last, man. I'm sorry about that, but either way,
I have many lives I've been told. So.
I gotta say, Morwen, I'm a little disappointed.
I know. I'm sorry. But if you knew why we had to leave, you'd understand.
Well, why'd you have to leave?
Oh, well, and I spend 2 hours telling her every single detail of how we got here.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Not every single detail.
I was gonna say,
But I am
Say
going
what-
to start.
You should say what you exclude.
I'm going to exclude the staff of Twisted Fates and Star stuff.
Okay.
But
world
I
ends.
am going to include, like, obviously Bernard, like, killing
fucking
Thistle,
asshole.
but not what
Um,
happened as a result of Bernard getting mad. Just
I
that he
don't know
killed
what
our
this
friend.
is. All right.
And
You would have loved him.
that we killed Kindscale. Not sure if you heard about that.
I don't know who that is.
Well, you won't. Sky the listener, man, was he scary? Oh,
Okay, well, it sounds like you've had some adventures, and
And at the end of these 2 hours, I'm just gonna be like, Guntir hasn't eaten an egg ever since. That's how I end this whole recap that I give her.
Oh, that's true.
Midway through the story, the bartender starts like leaning on the bar and listening, and by the end, a couple more beers have come. She doesn't charge you for them. It's just like a great story. By the end of it, you could see Rhodesia. It's a roller coaster of emotions. There's sadness at the beginning and happiness, and then kind of a little confusion about the whole Captain's Keep, and also how'd you get stranded on Biz for so long, and all this stuff. And
who cast that darkness on?
yeah.
But I'm gonna show her proof too. Like I'll show her. I think I have one of Kind Scale's scales, and I'll show her and be like,
yeah, she takes.
I just go.
Looks at it. She kind of holds the scale up to your armor. Oh wow! So there's a lot.
I
of
forgot that you were covered in them.
Big dragon. All right, dragons. I've heard they're kind of come back relatively recently, and I didn't believe it, but that's amazing. Morwen, that's really something.
So at the end of the day, I hope you'll forgive me about your store.
There's nothing really to forgive. I did give it to you, and I guess it is your right to do what you want with it. And it sounds like you were really trying to do the right thing and take care of the fish.
And the past is bound to slip away slowly until there's nothing left.
Wow.
What kind of words of encouragement is that?
I'm in the middle.
What?
Heinrich is in the middle of sniffing his finger and just kind of like.
What?
Guntir's like.
You see her finger now kind of idly moving over the empty spot on her ring finger.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right.
It's an inevitability that we all must live with. But, hey, at least you didn't eat any bad eggs.
Well, there is that, I guess. I can't believe you shit yourself in front of a whole bunch of dwarves.
Yeah, it was terrible.
If you had seen it.
Oh,
man.
my gosh. It was
Biggest
worse than
smile
usual.
To the biggest frown.
It was like...
The worst part is that you made such a big deal about this whole parade, and then you just shit yourself after a speech.
I know! It was his idea!
Oh, man. Don't remind me.
But that's the thing about things in the past. They just slip.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, they just... That's a good point, though.
Sometimes they just come shooting
Morwen,
at you like bad eggs.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
And I'm gonna be like, that's a good point. Guidance.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I actually 29.
Nice.
She looks down. She's still kind of moving her finger, but then it stops abruptly, and she looks up. You know what? I think, Guntir, if you could shit yourself in public, in such a public way, and get over
And look at it. I'm still standing, right?
Oh, I was wrong.
Right now I'm sitting because
it was a 24, but I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. Fuck you.
It was still over 20.
Guntir, if you can get past that,
Yeah.
I'm sure I can get past this. This is
In the back of Guntir's mind, he's just like.
there's just tears running on the inside of your skull. But yeah,
Keep a
I guess I
straight
can-
face.
Morwen, I appreciate you being honest with me, and that's quite a story. But kind of looks up, and at this point, like the moon is starting to drop a little bit lower, and it's well past midnight.
Yeah, it's so sorry. It was a lot, but I just had to. You just had to understand.
No, and I do, and it's remarkable what's been going on around the world, and I start to wonder with some of the things that you've said, this listener fellow and all that kind of thing. Maybe some of these attacks, maybe they're related somehow.
Almost certainly.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
Most certainly.
got real evil there for a second. It is getting pretty late, and we've had quite a bit to drink, and I could use a little rest before my shift. It's getting on 12 hours away now, so I might take my leave here for the night. I have some thinking to do, and but if you guys do, is there anything you need to know about 1,000 Gates before I leave?
Oh yeah, we went to go see the bear woman. You know, Shima Boskov.
Oh, the bear woman. That's an interesting way to describe her, but
Hey, that's
Shima
what.
Boltov, yeah. She's a shield, and she's in the Black Keep, and you're. I hate to say this, Gunter, you're not going to really see her.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
Well, there's 10 shift captains that report to Shield or Shima Boltov, and then there's 8 watchers for each of the shift captains, and then 15 soldiers per watcher. So
All
you're
right.
looking at right around 2,165 people just for her alone.
They don't know us though.
That's true, but she's got a lot going on, Gunter.
Yeah,
So
well, she's gonna want to know what we have going on. That's all I'm saying.
best of luck. Your best option is probably to
that's what
stop
I'm-
in there at the guardhouse and then see
Yeah.
if maybe they can get you a watcher, and if the watcher can elevate you to one of the captains, and somehow she's not too busy, maybe you could talk to her.
That's too much of it to do. We're just gonna go right up to her. We'll find
Best
her.
of luck to that.
Oh,
We'll figure
and
it out.
also, speaking of which, Ro, I'd appreciate it if you didn't, tell a whole bunch of people all the
Oh,
things
yeah,
I
keep
just
it-
told you.
I don't know what you take me for, Morwen, but I don't just give away secrets.
Oh, I
We're
know,
friends.
but it's just one of those things. You gotta say it, despite the fact that everyone in this bar listened.
There's no, I mean, it's midnight. It's 12:30. There's still people walking around. The bar is closed. The bartender was like here listening to the story. The only
Oh,
reason
right.
you're getting more beers is because she was just like, I want to know more. I want to know more. Like it's yeah. But otherwise, it's closed.
Cool.
So, do you all want to turn in for the evening?
Yeah.
I think so. If we
Well-
wanted to take a little foray out into the marsh just to see what's going on. I mean, not everyone, but I'm a little.
You don't want to go out into the marsh.
If for some reason, would we be able to team up with you, or is there a better way to do that?
Heinrich, I don't want to go into the marsh. I'll be pretty clear with you on that. But
Call it evidence gathering, if anything else. I obviously don't like throwing myself into danger. It just seems to happen often, but there's just some things I want to know.
well, you see, she's like struggling with this. She's a little drunk too. Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
I think we're probably all a little drunk. I mean, Morwen definitely had quite a few.
Gunter's
Yeah.
probably fine.
Excited over these stories
Persuasion
myself.
of 21.
Well, what Morwen just told me sounds pretty important. So let me talk to Kinway and see if I can get away for a little bit. I might be able to do that. But the thing is, you got to understand this swamp. It's not, first of all, it's marsh. And it's a really dangerous place. I know you fought dragons and this listener guy, but this is something else. This is an evil that predates Sarentil, that predates Dominion.
Yeah, it's what is it? Necromancer or whatever. Is that the one? Is that this one?
A necromancer?
Is that this one?
I'll
Oh, it's
message.
the
I'm
other
gonna-
one. It's the other
Yeah.
I'll
one.
It's
send
like
a
the one-
message to Gunter. Just be like, yeah, I think so. From the prophecy, yeah.
Yeah, the one from the prophecy, right, Heinrich?
I didn't
I
say
answer
anything.
aloud because
And
I don't-
I say out loud, I don't know what. Anyways, Ro.
You know what you just said. That. Yeah, you agreed with me, right?
The thing is, I mean, necromancy would make sense. The creatures that I've run into, though, they're not a product of necromancy. They're from the Swamp Lord. It's just sort of like a kind of like a mummy almost.
I don't think our prophecy said anything about a swamp lord.
Right. So I don't think there's a necromancer, maybe. Although, I mean, they are
Maybe
kinda-
it's a swamp lord necromancer.
maybe. I guess I just haven't heard much about necromancy. There has been some stirrings of the dead across the gated marsh now on the west coast.
Right. But more to the point, if it were possible to potentially join you, not guaranteeing that that's something I'd even want to do.
Let's be clear.
be able to
You're
hook that
leading
up.
this. You're leading this trip. I'm joining you.
Right.
I
I
don't
just
really
want to
have-
mean getting across the gate, across the wall isn't a difficult task if someone wants to go do that, or is it?
No, if somebody wants to go out into the gated marsh, that's fine. But
Well, then-
there's a process
then,
to come
yeah.
back. Because a lot of times things will come back and it's not really what came out in the first place. So
So then we might need someone with your know-how to do that. But
I see
What
you're
kind of
saying.
stuff
Yes.
comes back?
Oh, Well, it depends on what part of the swamp people went off to, because there are spirits that will possess your body and then march that very body right back, and technically you're there too, but you're not really in the pilot seat, so to speak.
Actually, to that point, are they accompanied by shoulder frogs ever,
Shoulder frogs.
or like another creature that's latched onto them?
Not as far as I know. That sounds
Spiritually,
like
it
Just saw a
sounds
strange,
like
just
it.
saw a strange guy walking when we first arrived here, and I don't know, just
a frog
randomly.
on his shoulder.
And I'll describe the guy that I saw.
Oh, you lost
Hearing
your-
that description, he'll kind of say, "You know what? Actually, I mean, so there was maybe about 3 months ago, a little bit before I got here, this group of like swamp dwellers. They call themselves the Circle of Ilmarsh. Um, there's like a dozen of them or so, and they're druids, I guess.
Okay.
That sounds kind of like what that might be.
Okay. My mind is more at ease now.
Does
Yeah,
Guntir
but I mean,
know
if you
anything?
do want to guide through the swamp, now that's probably who you'd want to talk to.
Yeah, wouldn't want to put you in harm's way more than you already tend to sound like you're getting, but okay.
It sounds like what you're doing is important, and if you really think I can help, what I'm doing here is important. But you're right. I mean, this is a static line. If you think maybe this could help in some way, I'll go with you.
I appreciate that. But
It is getting late. Maybe we could talk
gonna
more
say-
about it tomorrow.
was gonna
Yeah,
say,
we'll meet up
Go get
with
your
the
rest.
bear woman, and then we'll catch up with you after.
we'll see you when you come back tomorrow night after your shift.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be out right around 8 o'clock, same time.
All right. Where's the best place to catch you? We'll be staying here unless we shift, and we'll let the barkeep know if we move somewhere else, just in case.
Well, tomorrow, she has to think about it because actually I don't remember what day of the week it is.
Fair enough.
It's the 22nd of the Claws of Winter, so it is Tuesday. So technically Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm going to have duty right on the main gate, actually, so pretty easy to find me.
Okay. We'll try to catch up with you there, unless our unfortunate thread tugs us in a different direction, as it has so frequently. So don't take anything personal by it if we're not exactly there at 8.
Hey, you know what? I mean, it's been wonderful running into y'all and
Yeah.
seeing Morwen, even if she did sell my shop. And
Gave it away for free.
tomato, really. But yeah, I will return, right around 8 o'clock. If you're here, great. And if not, I know the bartender. I'll get a drink or two.
Yeah, there you go. We'll hope to see you tomorrow then.
You as well. Good night, everybody. Good night, Morwen.
Ah,
Turns around.
The dwarvish good night. Ah!
So you guys can easily enough find your way to your rooms. If there's anything that you wish to accomplish, now is the time to say it. Otherwise, we can skip to Heinrich phase.
Right.
Well, I'm definitely gonna open up the nice view.
Wind blows in. It's cold. It's like 40 degrees out, but it blows in and it's a beautiful night. You see a few clouds kind of interrupting the stars, the moon. You can see that blue star Virillion, maybe even a little bit distant, but pretty nice night out.
Yeah, so that's why I made a nest, and I'll bring out my winter clothes too for extra padding and just get
Excellent.
snugly.
I'm gonna do the necessary things to prepare my new runes
Okay.
at night.
Okay, so we'll get back to that in a second. Shae.
Shae,
Going to sleep unless Heinrich has something.
well, I was going to say, were there any questions that you could think of, given this new information that we just got?
Many questions. To me, there seems to be almost two different things going on. The marsh
kind of what I'm
and
thinking.
then whatever happened at that shop.
Right.
And I think
All right.
our best interest is to check out that shop tomorrow, as close as we can get.
Right. I agree on that.
That cat is a unit.
Yes, he is.
It's a huge cat. Yeah.
Yes. That was what was in my lap.
All right.
That's extra chomp.
All right. So I think I have my questions, and we'll press into that one first. Then.
Okay. Guntir,
But do Guntir's thing.
where are you? First of all, what are you going to put this rune on?
I think I'm going to put one of them on my new armor.
Okay.
And
I'll
Actually,
say
I think-
the process is probably going to take you like 3 hours. So you can do one tonight and get a full night's rest, or you could push on through the night and risk a little bit of exhaustion.
I'll do one.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna do I think cloud, and I'm gonna put it on one of the new gauntlets.
Okay.
The left one.
As you settle in, you see Morwen kind of like getting all of her stuff together and starting to like knead biscuits and pull out some winter wear. You sit down on the floor and you take off this element, your gauntlet, this kind of like arm part is what you're going to do it on.
Yeah.
Okay. Place it down on the floor and you start to think about your adventures and your time in Yorn, this cloud giant city floating above the clouds. And you remember seeing this rune on these weird little like bubbling bits of clouds that burst in the air. It seemed to be some kind of a defensive measure. And you think about that kind of defense and you begin to sketch almost, and your eyes glaze over a little bit. Morwen, over the next 45 minutes, you see Guntir's hand just move rhythmically, and you hear this kind of scrape as he takes a dagger and slowly carves this giant rune into his armor. Little metal peels as it scrapes, little like peels of metal fall off onto the floor.
I'm
Guntir,
probably just taking the pillows and just like.
Yeah, no problem. And you can fall asleep pretty easily. The pillows here are actually quite thick. So, Guntir, you can now utilize that rune as you wish.
Yay.
Um,
Then I'm gonna go to sleep.
okay. For those of you who do not know, Guntir has 3 levels in fighter, specifically in the Rune Knight. And so we'll see what that does at some point in the future. Heinrich.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn off the rooster because it's nighttime.
The night chickens have gone to
Alright.
sleep.
Yeah,
The night
the chickens have
chickens.
gone to sleep. Yeah, the night chickens have gone to sleep. Now it is the brief period before the day chickens come out. Heinrich, your companions find sleep around you. And you are kind of, as is tradition, the only one left awake.
All right. Trying to think the best way to pry into this. I feel like the first question that I would ask, because it was the potion shop that was destroyed, right?
Yep.
And did I catch the name from Ro?
You heard the name of the owner. The owner of the shop was, let me get back to you so I don't contradict myself, because then Talon could probably catch me on it. Yasir.
I'll just phonetically spell that.
Okay.
Okay. And they are no longer, correct? That's what she had said? Or they are still around?
She said that the store was smashed or destroyed, but she didn't really say whether or not she's still around. She said that she hadn't seen her recently.
Gotcha. I guess the first question that I would ask is, what was the major event that caused destruction at the potion shop in Thousand Gates, where Asir works?
Or worked.
Worked.
These individual glowing celestial glyphs fade into the page and reemerge. And remind me again, what exactly did you say? You said.
So what happened to cause such destruction at the potion shop in Thousand Gates run by, or worked, where Asir worked?
What reemerges is Yasir, the herbalist, traveled to the north and learned within the Lorebinder Academy of Azra and brought her worship back with her. These all kind of fade into the page, and then reemerging, she could not control this new power, and her forces attacked. That's all.
All right, second question. Was there temporarily, or was there, or is there, a portal opened to Calypso's there,
Sure.
referring to the potion shop.
Fades away. At first, you're worried about being disappointed because just one word comes up, which is no.
Mhm.
But slowly coming into focus, you see she grew spores that she did not understand, found new toadstools and mushrooms to create potions, salves, tonics, but she did not understand. And as she grew these things that a strange man who spoke words that she did not understand, she felt connected to something more. She grew these mushrooms into a cocoon, and from it hatched these invaders. There was no portal initially. That all fades away.
Within these spores and potions and ruin of the potion shop, is there a way to construct a bridge to Azra? Still.
Much has burned. There are things that remain, but to construct a way to reach the goddess of rot with these things, a little bit of time, unlikely.
Okay, that's the third one. And it's Ulrich is the guy's name, by the way?
For who?
The Harbinger? No, it was
Euthelius is the
Euthelius, I'm sorry. Euthelius, okay. Oh, Euthelius, okay. All right, I'm talking to him about that tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, as that's 3 questions, and I kind of got a fair amount of info. And study some more Elvish.
Okay. You can have 3 more hours of Elvish.
All right, 30 hours, yeah.
Hey, you're learning. You're getting onto verbs now.
Yay.
I mean, right now, you probably speak more Elvish than Morwen does. So, you know,
Nice.
for what it's worth.
Well, it's bound to happen.
You, as you do this, kind of find that the hours fade together, and soon enough, light's beginning to shine into the window in your room. Guntir and Morwen, the light hits you pretty hard because this massive, your entire wall is a window. It's also northeastern facing, so you get the sun just straight into your eyes as it comes up.
Well,
Nice.
then I throw the blankies on top of my face.
Fair enough. All of you can mark off a long rest, and you wake up at various points throughout the morning.
I'm waking up late.
Okay, you wake up late.
I feel like you
Guntir,
pulled
Morwen,
my blanket away so then I couldn't cover my face. So then I was just like, and I got up.
it's you guys both have a decent hangover. Pretty good sized hangover. But aside from that, you find that you have rested and the night has passed without issue.
I'm going to go get some water and then start my morning routine
Okay.
2.0.
You go and you get some water. There's some like clouds in the sky. It's a little bit grayer, and as you kind of go and get some water, you look out through this huge window. Still very much a crowd kind of going around, and you can see some stuff going on beneath. There's people coming to and fro, kind of doing their daily things. You can hear Morwen kind of shuffling around behind you.
All right.
Routine, all right.
I'm just like doing it right in front of the window, or the doorway.
People are like staring at you. You see some kids pointing and laughing, but aside from that,
Shut down. Respect your elders.
Guntir, make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no, are they throwing poo at me?
why is poop the first thing that you go to?
No, they're throwing
There's
eggs.
dwarves and
'cause the
stool,
story
dude.
spread.
Dwarves and stools.
Yes.
Can't catch me in the morning.
You could take a small, like a fist-sized rock right to the dome because that kid rolled a natural 20.
Holy shit! That kid's like, he's got to be like a baseball pitcher or something.
There's no
Baseball
baseball in this angle, but you take this rock, boom, right to the dome. A little bit of blood trickles down. The skin splits. It's old. You don't take any damage. You
Oh
see
my
them
gosh!
coming off.
Can I can't catch him for a little harmless.
They're like 60 feet
vengeance.
away at the moment.
I'm gonna try to throw the rock back at him
Make an attack.
as I shout,
Respect your elders.
Make an attack. You are not proficient with rocks at disadvantage because it's well over the minimum or the halfway range of your distance.
right,
This
well-
rock is right at the edge of your ability.
I'm picturing that I'm just like still in bed but sitting up and my hair is crazy and I'm just like watching this like what the hell?
Oh!
What?
It was a natural 20 the first time.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Second roll. Still 13.
Okay. You take
yeah,
this
you know
rock. Oh,
You know what?
what?
I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
What?
It's coming. I'm gonna add a +10 to this.
What?
So in this moment, with this rock in your fist, you squeeze down on it, and Morwen, you're like, what the hell?
I'm
So
like,
you
Respect your elders.
still see bits of blue, but you hear thunder crackle. You see people looking up, this bolt of lightning off in the distance, and you see it mimicked in Gunter's hand around the stone, this bit of lightning. Gunter, you whip this rock out. A window shatters way off the mark. But real cool looking.
And I take that as my all right.
I'm like,
Yeah, that probably.
Getting
did.
up.
go back
Fine.
to,
I'm getting up.
go back to my day.
Pull yourself to consciousness. One by one, you all kind of complete your morning routine. Is there anything that you wish to do before kind of reconvening downstairs? Okay. You guys kind of all meet up roughly at the front kind of hallway / in the open area kind of out front.
All right.
All right, so gotta go find this Shima Bear woman.
I think it more prudent and in our best interest to investigate this herbalist shop.
All right.
The reason why we're here, at least. But again, if you think some good could come of doing that, that's fine. But we have
I
to
just
go
think-
see that.
You know,
We have
But
to go see
yeah.
someone. The harbinger
Sure.
that we all met in Port Quinn.
she probably knows a bunch about what's happening here, and we're
If
here
you
for that.
wish to go try to meet her, Gunter, by all means, please do.
Oh well, let's go to this herbalist first, and then we can go there.
Herbalist, I like that.
Herbalist, they might have a nice little pipe for you.
Oh!
Probably not anymore, sad to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well,
Well, if we can find them.
if we pass a
The
shop
rise
on the
and
way.
fall of Gunter's emotions.
There were plenty of stores along the way if you wanted
Yeah.
to shop as we go
Yeah,
and
it's okay.
talk to this guy.
We'll
We
find
did
something.
find the Stoneflow shop. I could point you in that direction if you wanted.
Yeah, we'll go there too. We'll check that out on the way.
Perfect.
So, you guys make your way out. Easy enough as you do walk. Shae kind of points you over, and Gunter, to your dwarven eyes, you see this. It is called the Stoneflow Surplus. There's this kind of almost neon-looking sign in front of, behind it, these dull, to most eyes, dwarven runes in rock. To you, they stand out because it is this beautiful, subtle red rock with like some kind of a mineral just embedded in it, but almost gridded. You can tell that it's gem in nature and natural, but it's really beautiful. To most people, it would look like kind of like a dull red stone. Very, very nice.
Should I stone come that?
If you wish, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna. I should.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you have it,
That's a nice stone. If you're talking about that stone like that already, I want to learn more about this nice stone.
Plus, if you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah.
All right, that's what is my new stat for that? I think it's an 18.
An 18.
Yeah, that's an 18.
You sure. with an 18, looking at this, your eyes kind of just narrow in. This looks like maybe red jasper. It's like super fine grained stone, has like a little bit of iron in it, which is what gives it that color. It's called hematite.
Which I've also learned of because we saw some
In Coltron.
somewhere.
There was I don't know if you actually found it, but there was in the orphanage, that place with all the cataloged ores. There was a section of that there.
I had it written down as one of the ones that I've come across.
Yep.
So that must have been it. Oh. All right, red jasper.
And in a different town, there was a stool made out of it in a dwarven bar that you guys never went to. But I went through the painstaking process of designing 8 different stone stools and going through the lore of where each one came from, just in case.
Oh man! Well, now that you say that,
Yeah, it's in Captain's
Let's go
Keep.
back.
So you guys decide to head in this direction. Shae points you in the direction of where that stone flow surplus is. If you want, Guntir, without too much trouble, for 3 copper pieces, you can pick up a pipe off of one of these random kind of little stores on the side.
yeah, it's not the same as old man's pipe, but
It's really not.
Yeah.
But you get one. Pretty simple. It's like a what you would imagine, like a little corn cob pipe kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you guys continue to walk. You eventually make it to the edge of this town. And Shae, you can see, whereas at night there was like these 6 kind of paladin figures, there's still 6 of them. Some of them look different. There's a handful of like full-on soldiers that are wearing the whites of the Church of Six here now. It's bustling with activity. But do you guys approach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you guys approach, you can see one of these paladins shift, the metal all kind of turning. He takes one step forwards, and as he does, I mean, this guy is probably like 6'8", 6'9", tall. It takes one step forward, and Guntir, you can even feel the ground underneath the footstep. Begins to take another one, and then you hear from off to the side, "No, no, no, that is okay." And stepping out from behind one of the buildings, you see pale robe up, but pulls it down. Euthelius, the harbinger of the Church of the Six. You see, just one second here. I have a lot of notes for this week. Clad in this snow white cloak, you can see chains that kind of form almost a collar that rattle a little bit as he does so. Porcelain gray skin. These long, almost comically long elven ears, were it not for these pale, almost white blue eyes. He looks almost blind, but you see, and Heinrich, having looked into them for a significant amount of time, it's this kind of almost like a pale blue, like the ocean during a storm. The armor has the silver details across it. It's black leather with a 6-pointed star on the chest. He's about 6'4", a little shorter than the other guy, but as he walks, his presence seems to make him kind of expand. But he steps forwards, his eyes directly on you, Heinrich. Maverick here, wasn't it?
Yes. You feel like this.
He just waves, and you can see this huge figure just turn back around and kind of go back to his business. But he stepped closer to you. You know, you could have been here a long time ago if you had just gone with me in the beginning.
I am aware. We did have things to tend to up north.
So I hear.
Some success, some failure, but progress, I would call it.
This guy's familiar. Who is he?
I'm glad
I
that
think
you
I'm still
call
drunk.
it. I'm glad that you call it progress, but the real focus of this place, you've wandered quite a field of it. So what brings you back?
Oddly enough, what we experienced when we were in the north. A direct tie, it seems.
A dragon, I hear.
And after that.
Well, my eyes don't wander quite that far, so What happened after that?
Is there somewhere less, or a little more private, a little less public that we could talk?
Walk with me and your friends. They can come
Sure.
as well. He turns, walks into this kind of cordoned off section. You see the people who are there. There are people who look at you, but they say nothing.
Mhm.
There is a real sense of fear to this person being here.
Mhm.
But he leads you off. The buildings here are badly burnt. Many of them seem to have the doors smashed in.
Mhm.
But leads you to a residence and walks inside. The walls kind of charred. I would say Guntir and Shae with their passive perceptions of 20. You walk in, badly burned. You see there is like a blackened film across part of the wall where some of the fire is. Something about it pulls at your eyes a little bit. But he steps within the space, looks around, and Heinrich, you see that one eye kind of flash for a moment as he looks around. And then it levels back on you. We'll be undisturbed here.
Good.
So
We ascended to Yorn, where I guess the short end of it is a portal to Calypsos was opened.
So it seems we do have some shared purpose here.
Yeah. Had I come here first, path would have led the same direction, it seems. There was someone of Shae's order who knew that my mother had been brought there somehow.
Start to you, Shae, and then back. Your
And
mother.
I knew, yes, and I knew the last place she had been seen was here, working with, I think it was Isik, or something of that nature.
Isik.
An herbalist working at the potion shop, maybe owning it or something.
That is very interesting. The herbalist, this Yasir.
Yasir, not my handwriting.
I'll spell it phonetically.
I did, and then well, look.
Yes.
Quick glance.
Okay.
My R is crooked, so against the I, it looks like a K.
Fair.
I hardened that.
This Yasir operated a herbalist's shop called the Bitter Cure. Kind of gestures off to the right. You can't. I mean, you're inside. You can't really see, but you get it down the road a little bit.
Sure.
Sort of towards the end of what was a cul-de-sac. A very nice building at one time, but now sort of a shattered remains. What I am about to tell you does not leave this room. Yes?
I'm going to walk over to inspect
leave the room?
weird seer.
Okay.
on the
Make an
wall.
investigate.
Shot
Make
on
an
the wall.
make an investigation or nature check. Your choice.
Okay. I'm still listening, but
Sure.
while he's talking, I'm going to like go inspect that.
When I first arrived, there was some strangeness that required my presence. The first thing that I noticed outside of this cure was shattered glass from the greenhouse overhead, as if it had broken from the inside. That is not an attack from without, it was an attack from within. This was not a part of the events happening beyond this wall. I think this was something using it as a distraction. You said you were looking for your mother.
Yeah. Shade had been working there, apparently, for some time.
Well, where was it that your mother worked?
I believe at the Sober Scholar, but somehow was close enough by. It's entirely unclear to me, although I do have some details.
I think that there is something that you should see.
Yes, let's see it.
Looks over at the rest of you. Wait here, you three. We'll be back. And he walks past you, Guntir, and then out the door. Heinrich, do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was that guy?
I want to
Two of
watch
you.
from the doorway.
Okay. Shae, as you step to the doorway, the light fades out a little bit. You can see right next to the door there is one of those paladins.
Not planning on leaving, but I want to watch.
Sure. Yeah. But as you get to the doorway, you see them shift ever so slightly. You get the sense that you probably would not. Well, you get the sense that they would try to prevent you from leaving. They probably couldn't in terms of your speed, but they will certainly try.
Making no
Heinrich.
effort to actually leave, just
Yeah.
watching.
Heinrich, you walk with Euthelius, who quietly steps across the ground. As you walk, you hear glass shattering under your foot. You hear bits of stone kind of compressing together. His footsteps are silent. But you walk towards the center of the space. You can see here these tall, thin walls of wood, very thin, very hastily erected. And he stops before them. Maverick, this is not a pleasant sight. And I will not fool you into thinking that there is more hope than there is. But if your mother truly was here, her chances are poor. He steps forwards beyond this wall. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
After a pretty grave long pause, to say the least.
Each footstep brings you closer to this smell. And at first, it was just the fire of the burning buildings, this kind of charred wood. But you're beginning to recognize something else. Meat, maybe. And as you walk through and past this wall, you can see elements of a huge bonfire now died down. You see runes underneath, arcane runes. You see piled around it just ashes. Pale, similar to what you'd seen in Koltaram, kind of drifting down. You see there is 3 stone, almost coffins, sealed, chained, locked. Next to that, there is a large pile, and you see just already through the cloth the shapes of just bodies piled up. He steps closer to those and turns back to you. This is your last chance. Is this something that you wish to see?
It will bring a definitive answer to a pretty burning question either way.
Well, I would tell you that it brings sleepless nights, but I get the sense that you already experience those. And he pulls this cloth aside. You see dozens of broken, partially charred bodies, but none of that draws your eye in as much as this ugly purple fungus that grows over many of them. You see salad skin, similar to those half-formed creatures that you had seen back in Squall's End, in the 3rd floor of the Frostmare.
Mm-hmm.
These sort of half-formed creatures of Azra.
Mm-hmm.
None of them appear to be your mother,
Mm-hmm.
but closes this kind of tarp.
Yeah.
I do not know how much you have seen of this individual's work, but Azra, the goddess of rot, opposes everything that our church stands for. And so my mission to bring this to a close is very personal to me, and perhaps very personal to you. You mentioned Calypso, so you know of Azra.
End of the Burning Banner, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You are full of surprises.
There's probably more too.
Maybe. There was more than these creatures. And his eyes drift across those stone coffins, but then further, and you can see this pile of ash. When we first came here, there was talk of a creature massive in size. It turns, and you can now see elements of broken glass that would make up maybe like a greenhouse top.
Mm-hmm.
This is the bitter cure. They say, like an angel of rot, burst from this glass dome, hewing everything around with a blade longer than you are tall. I have not seen evidence of such things except just gesturing around the destruction wrought here. Does this ring any bells for you?
The description of that creature, does that... I mean, that's not dragon. That's for sure.
Certainly not. Winged angelic creatures?
I know. Did we see anything like that while we were in the astral plane?
Make an intelligence check.
I feel like we didn't, but
You didn't in the astral plane.
yeah. No, it wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't help anyways. It was just a 6, but
Not bringing any bells. Although, I mean, it something about that really is pulling at you, but
Yeah.
it's just not coming to light.
the blade and the angelic shape. I mean, it sounds like it may have been someone of the burning banner, but turned? Does that even track? Does that make sense?
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh, nice. Right when it counts. 19.
That's one over what you needed. So he looks at you, these eyes, they seem to almost pierce into your mind. You feel as if he is searching your thoughts. Come with me, Heinrich. Markovia, whatever you... he knows you as Maverick here, so...
Yeah, so he would say it. Because he knew before he even introduced himself, so that's fine.
He walks over to these 3 stone coffins. You see, he gestures his hand. These very familiar to you looking teal kind of glyphs rise from the fingertips and seem to spread out and disperse. And the lock unlocks, takes it off, and pulls the chains aside. They're heavy onto the ground. It is not a member of the Burning Banner, but this is. And he shifts the stone away. You see teeth and jawbones, but this badly charred flesh that leads to a humanoid. You can see this long, at one point, blonde hair, most of it badly charred, stick-like. But the thing that really pulls to you is the back. You can see coming out of it, kind of underneath her, folded up, these broken, mangled wings. I think they are turning members of this burning banner. But this creature, larger than that.
It wasn't her entirely then, hopefully, was it? What
I
do
don't
you know?
believe it to be the goddess of rot. I think if she had escaped, we would know it.
True. I don't think this city would be standing.
No. To me, it speaks of perhaps a celestial creature turned.
Oh boy.
Hard to tell.
The blade, too. I mean, that's just obvious that it's her. Not her herself, but someone under her banner now, I suppose, too.
Less of a banner and more of a drumbeat, but your point has been taken.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. All right. How did they get here? How do you think they got here? Because Heinrich Maverick here knows, but well, doesn't really, but knows.
That does remain to be largely a mystery, and why I am still here. There is no gateway. There are no runes. These things seem to have been able to tunnel in, but we have found no tunnel, and we have looked.
This
That's
guy's
mystery.
very difficult to read, but can I? It's so hard. And also kind of meta. Is he trustworthy? I believe he is, but
Make an insight check.
yeah, like something. God damn it. 13 is not gonna do it. I already know
To read.
that.
I mean, it's hard to like look at him because it's.
I know. That's why I laughed. I was trying to say in the first place.
Yeah. So even just trying to search his face, you feel almost compelled to look away. Hard to tell.
Your book. You have asked, I'm sure, many questions. Has it told you nothing?
His eyes narrow for the first time. What do you mean?
Are you like me and able to ask questions to your patron?
Yes, I am able to commune with
Have
the
you
gods.
asked them how this happened?
Yes and no. It does not work quite like that. We do understand the nature of this. The spell to which you are referring to is not an easy one to cast. So, being alone in the people who can do it here, I can do it perhaps twice a day. It does take a toll. If you have cast the spell, you know as well as I do, the answer's not always helpful and rarely clear.
You say that again. All right. I have certainly tried asking prior to even seeing this. This obviously brings up even more questions, but the presence of these mushrooms, is that not surprising to you?
Azra is the goddess of rot and ruin.
Sure, but how they got here?
I'm afraid I do not follow.
Have you seen Ysir recently? Are they still around? I feel like they would have more answers.
Interestingly enough, there has been no body found for Ysir. I would imagine, whatever way they made their escape, she is with them.
Got it. Look, I have some thinking and evaluating to do. I think you can appreciate that. Being so close yet so far to where my mother was last seen. If you wouldn't mind bringing me back to my friends and allowing us to leave, I would come to you in the future with more information when I have it. I think I may be onto something.
As you wish. But Maverick here, and he takes like the first couple steps towards the door, then or towards back towards the group, and then stops. If there is anything that you're not telling me, now would be a very good time.
Damn it.
But if not, let me bring you back
What?
to your friends. He turns and continues to move.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold it. I need to convene.
So
I'm holding.
Okay, you guys return. Is there anything that you guys are doing while Heinrich is gone? He's gone for probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was inspecting the char.
Oh yeah, which was your roll?
I got a 19, and I had done it for nature.
Okay, so not a natural kind of fungus, not a lichen, not a moss. It's weird. You get close, it's really badly burned, almost like it was intentionally done. And you're aware the smell here is not just char, there is a different smell. And Guntir, suddenly it kind of comes to you. First of all, this doesn't seem like a natural thing. You don't see any place that it's sourced from. But secondly, in Mudtown, there's a dry season to the north. Right to the north of the river that kind of is what causes all the mud. when that happens, there are species of plants that, when they burn, release spores to travel far and wide.
Mm.
And that does concern you a little bit. But this is not a natural fungus. And it reminds you a lot of what you saw in the Frost Bear.
Where I made that guy sick.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys remember that inn with the asshole tiefling? Called me a clown.
Oh
Got
yeah.
really sick.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. And didn't you like
Oh.
drink his whole bar after?
Oh yeah,
I
I
drank
mean,
a lot.
At home, yes?
what? Oh yeah, your place.
Squall's
Yeah.
End.
Yeah. This looks like the same stuff that he had upstairs.
The
Was
whole
that,
time, Heinrich's out,
Was
like,
that-
watching for him, as well as trying to, like, get a sense of what's
You
around.
lose sight of it pretty quick.
Isn't that- oh,
Sense
sorry.
of what's getting around from what you rolled before, you see there's a lot of guarding activity. There are no bodies that you can see. You do see signs of struggle. You see little bits of blood up on like a threshold across the way, but no bodies. That's pretty weird. And a lot of the fires, they look intentionally started, but not like to destroy. They don't look like they were started at the base to like burn a house out.
Mhm.
It's a weird scene here, but other than that, not much.
Should we burn this stuff or something?
I mean, at that inn, didn't Heinrich die?
Yeah, that's when Heinrich died.
I think
Heinrich
we should
died?
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
yeah.
outside.
It was quite the fiasco.
Oh yeah, you were outside, but Heinrich died. But then I think I saved him,
Yeah,
right?
you brought him back.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, good for you.
and that's why he's so ungrateful. But that's probably also why you are not grateful, even though without me, you would never have fostered your one and only friendship with Heinrich.
Wow. That deserves a quick, nearly invisible supersonic punch to the nose.
Oh my god, that was vicious.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Guntir, I'm going to
I'm
pretend
joking, we're friends.
that I did not hear that.
We're friends. Plus, you got credit. That's at
In the
least
interest
3.
of saving your nose.
Lighten up. It was a joke.
At about this point, you hear Heinrich approaching, and then you see Euthelius and then Heinrich as they walk back in.
Hey, Heinrich, this stuff's just like the stuff when you died.
Yeah, it's clear that
Euthelius is looking right at you now, Heinrich.
Azra's presence was here too, is still maybe in this fungus and stuff.
Yeah, so
I trust you guys have been burning it all, right? And
I was just saying we should probably burn it. Also, what's your name?
Morwen.
No, not you. The pale dude.
He's looking at you, Guntir. He squints his eyes a little bit.
is he casting silence?
No, he's not casting it.
Okay.
He's inside checking Guntir.
Okay.
He's casting sus.
I am the Harbinger, Euthelius.
Oh, okay. Well, all the stuff that we said in here probably got heard. So,
I'm sorry, I do not follow your train of thought. Is there something I can do?
because this stuff is directly linked in some way to Rot Lady, the Queen of Rots.
Azra.
Yeah, so this pretty much like she's got an ear in this room right now. Or at least we should assume such, because, better safe than sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna start burning this stuff.
He's gonna step forward towards you, and he's going to say, "Now, good Sir Dwarf, where did you come across this information?"
Well, my brain.
which no doubt in its state needed to acquire it from somewhere else.
My eyes, if we're going to be technical, saw the stuff. And then my brain processed that information in such a way that I was able to decide.
Reaches out at you, Guntir, and he taps you on the head. You can make a dexterity saving throw if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like dex save to swat his hand away.
Technically, let me do this correctly. It's gonna be him rolling to hit because this is technically a melee spell attack. That's gonna be like a 29, so I'm pretty sure that's gonna hit.
Yeah.
Suddenly, as you're talking, he reaches out in this dart. Your eyes have to they squint in, they go down because it's touching you right between the nose. And he pulls his hand away, and for all of you, you can see this pale, ghostly blue strand with these little arcane runes drifting across it as he pulls it out.
Is that something on my face?
No, but it appears that you're having some trouble with your memory, so he closes his eyes. You can see he plays with it almost like a ribbon between his fingers.
Hey, is that a memory? Give it that back. I only have so many of them.
It was.
Was?
You see, he opens his hand and it disappears.
Hey!
Wait, which one was it?
You just took This guy's an asshole.
Which one?
Heinrich, how do you know this guy?
We met him at Port Quinn.
I have more questions for you.
Sure.
Why did you not tell me that you had encountered this before?
We've been deceived many times, and it's out of caution. Like the good Sir Dwarf said, sometimes trusting people along our way has led us to near destruction.
Yeah, or people stealing your memories.
He's ignoring you now, Guntir.
Yeah. You have to understand that caution, better part of valor, yada yada. You've heard that one, I'm sure.
You know, one of the nice things about being a harbinger is that I don't have to do much of anything. For those that I do not find trustworthy, they can burn. The light takes everything the same. So let me ask you one more time. Where did you come across this information?
Oh, I told you. I got it from my brain.
Guntir, make a wisdom saving throw.
When we were in... Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. That's 29.
29? All right. He's going to add plus 10 to that, and that is going to also be a 29. So that is going to be silenced. You don't even see, he doesn't move at all for this, it just happens.
Wait, so I'm going to start laughing because it's kind of funny now.
All right. I wish I knew that one a long time ago. Look, I see I betrayed your trust and I understand your position. I apologize. We've been through a lot. Here is what I have found out from my patron specifically. And I guess I'll just give him the answers to the 3 questions from last night. Pretty much.
I appreciate the information, but that is not where you obtained this knowledge to begin with. You asked questions about Azra. Why?
Oh boy. I had a connection with her at once.
How do you mean?
That blade that the angel figure carried, your description of it, was once something prior to knowing who it came from that I wielded. Think of it as an innocent child picking up a dangerous weapon without knowing what they had. I'm fully admitting to that I had no idea prior. I've since severed that, and ever since then, she has sought to take me, sort of as, I guess, recompense for the affront to her will. And thus far, I've been able to keep that at bay. But the lines keep leading right back no matter where I go. The north, south, here. That's why I've arrived here at this point.
Make a deception check.
That's not entirely untrue.
Based on your backstory? Oh, I like that. First of all, I like that Matt actually silenced himself on Discord. I didn't notice that. I tried really hard not to look at him. But
yeah.
When we're back in person, I'm not going to be able to ignore Matt anymore. It's going to be just a train wreck. But yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. All right. So, deception. How's a 25 do?
You see these eyes.
He probably knows.
Pale blue eyes seem to burn into you, and for a moment, they seem to search yours. Very well. But I do warn you, there is more to this story that I do not know, and I intend very much to find out. It appears that I have business now at Squall's End, so I will leave you all to this.
If I may, Euthilius.
He turns and looks at you.
Your business at Squall's End is likely done. I will give you the rest of that story. If you have heard of Druxa, he is a mountain elf.
For the first time, you see a micro expression of concern on his face.
Druxa has regained what he once was. He took all of the mountain elves from the monastery, and he has opened a portal to Calypso's. They are gone.
They are never truly gone.
No, but from Squall's End, they are.
You do not all understand the nature of what you are meddling with. Your home, young human, is in grave danger, and you have placed it there.
I'll look over to Guntir at this point.
So he looks at you now, Heinrich. Once I've concluded my business in the north, I will find you, and you will have more questions to answer. 2 people that I answer to. You all must understand that what you are meddling with holds Alberon in its hand as well. Azra is not a dragon. She is not some wisp of a spirit across the ocean. This is something very real, and something beyond even me. So, Maverick here, before you take your next steps, think quite hard about them. And he walks out the door.
Damn.
Because it's good night.
Exactly.
That is where I know, right? That is where we're going to leave you. Matt, you can unmute yourself. Thank you. That was great.
You bastard! Bastard!
Man, look at that. Yeah, great stuff.
That was good. That
Yeah,
was
really hard to play a serious character like that with Matt as part of just. Yeah, I know. All I can see is just rapid motion. There's no like.
I could hear the rapid
Guntir
motion.
was going off.
Sure. I can't wait to go back when I go back and look at it and just kind of see what you're doing. That's going to be like, oh, thing in itself. Anyways, for all of you who are out there, thank you so much for watching. Talon, it was great seeing you. We saw Fat Boy, we saw Elementor 1, King Cobra, JFS420_69. Great name, by the way. For all of you guys who followed and who subscribe, Sumiwa and Talon, thank you guys so much. You guys have subscribed forever. We really appreciate it. It's going to go into, all that money is going into a super cool project, which is some months down the line. If you follow us on socials, you'll have seen some pictures of the beginnings of it, but we're building a place to play D&D, which is super cool and is going to be just the best. It also goes into like a lot of the cool art. It goes into, some of the time it goes into making things like the Dungeoneer's Guide, which is a hefty document. But thank you so much for tuning in tonight, for joining us for this long journey. I believe we're back next week, correct?
Mhm.
So next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will see you for session 65 of Adventures in Alberon. But until then, the world is even crazier somehow than it was the last time. So please stay safe out there. Yeah, I know. It just escalated readily for the last 4 years, but here we are. Please stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Bye.